Morning, everyone. How's it going? Y'all already know who it is. It's your boy, Big Ghost Rider. If y'all are watching this after it was pre-recorded, I ask that y'all double tap your screen if you're on a cell phone. Like the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I ask that you'll subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. For you guys who don't know, it's your boy, Big Ghost Rider. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, I have to say this. I have to say pretty much since I started this channel, I've done political strategy. You see what I'm saying? Since I started this channel, it's always been about political strategy. And I think that's important. It's important to me, at least, I'll say, because I try to be authentic as I possibly can about my opinions and how I feel. I feel as though I'm a patriot. I don't feel as though I know that I am a patriot of the United States. And, I think, or I believe, or I'll say, like, most of the people who are on this live stream, they love America as well. So what we're trying to do here on Legal Wars Live, that's a little different than other live streams or other podcasts. I would say that my aim is not as much to entertain you as it is to get you to critically think about politics and our country and the state of our nation. That's what I'm trying to do. So good morning, Montan. How are you doing, my brother? If you will you double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Y'all make sure y'all hit that notification bell. My question is to you guys, what does MAGA mean to you? If I asked you guys this morning, I would say, so what is MAGA? Well, you want to make America great again. So, what does that mean exactly? Making America great.
When was America last great?
You see what I'm saying? So, guys, I'm going to play like a little clip. I'm going to start off playing a clip because I want to ask you, good morning, Donnie. How are you doing, Donnie? Can I ask you a question? What does MAGA mean to you? Like, why do you consider yourself MAGA? Or if you're not MAGA and you're looking at someone who is MAGA, what does that mean? Does that mean border security? Does that just basically mean the Republican Party? When they're saying MAGA, it just means the Republican Party. That's why I'm going to start off today. What does MAGA mean? What does make America great again? So this is from The Daily Show, and I'm going to play this real quick. I'm going to let y'all hear this, and then to get you guys thinking, I want you guys to jump down in the comments this morning and tell me, guys, what does MAGA mean to you?
For me, I would say the turning point for our country was 1913 when we passed the 17th Amendment.
It was like back when women couldn't vote.
Yeah, 1912 back up, but again,
That's kind of your sweet spot right there.
Absolutely.
What year was America great?
When it was founded.
Except for the slavery stuff.
Except for the slavery stuff,
I think we were probably our strongest immediately post-World War II.
So around the 1950s?
Yeah, mid-40s, 50s.
I mean, I think the 50s was great other than, segregation and women's rights.
Look, we could sit here and paint negative.
So that's what I'm saying. What does it make America great mean to you? You see what I'm saying? I'm saying I know President Ronald Reagan, and he's a Republican. President Trump is a Republican. So that's when we first heard Make America Great. President Trump added the again part on there. But I'm saying he starts this movement, and this movement within the Republican Party, we know is MAGA today, Make America Great Again. What does that mean? And so I just played a clip on The Daily Show. They went out there and asked some people. Ghost is in NYC, but I'm not going to go out there and ask people, what does it mean? And they said, oh, America was great in the 50s. Oh, America was great in this time. America was great in that time. I'm going to take a second and I'm going to jump down in the comments with you guys. And I'm going to ask you guys, what does Make America Great mean to you? Donnie says, MAGA means to me putting the U.S. interests above and beyond global interests. I'm not MAGA, I'm well beyond it. Donnie, that was a great question. That was a great response, excuse me. Donnie says, make America great again means putting America's interests before the interests of the global interests. So that's what it means to him. He said he's not MAGA, but his perception of MAGA is that. Donnie, can I ask you a question? When was America great? And what years and what time was America great? And look, the next question I ask, and I don't want you guys to get mad at me because I'm going somewhere with this, is what does make America great means to a black man? If we ask a rich man and we ask a poor man, we go to a rich man and we say, what does MAGA mean to you? And then we go to a poor man and we say, what does MAGA mean to you? Don't you think different people are going to have different perspectives? So I'm saying if we go to a community that's primarily Caucasian, you see what I'm saying? We just out there canvassing. And we knocking doors and we just having political surveys. So we surveying and we asking in a neighborhood that's primarily Caucasian. It don't matter where it's at. I'm saying, what does MAGA mean to them? And then we go to a neighborhood that's primarily black and we say, what does MAGA mean to you? If you see a majority black or brown community, Donnie, this morning, who do you think they're voting for? That's a question for the stream, for these. I'm trying to get you guys thinking because I'm going somewhere with all of this. I know they challenged me about me saying that, like Ghost always talks about black people or talking about white people. As a political strategist. That's what I told you guys. If you guys are just now coming into the stream, when I started the stream, I've been as a political strategist from day one. So as a political strategist, I have to look at it as a black person and a white person, not being racist. Just seeing how those policies, President Trump's policies or the MAGA policies, are actually affecting different communities. So that's what I asked. What does MAGA mean to a black person or to a Hispanic person, to a brown person? Because, Donnie, I think if you ask a black or brown person, I think MAGA probably would mean something different than if you ask somebody a white person or something in the Midwest, right or wrong? Or is it just about the parties? Good Guys Activism says, how about bettering the education and making sure all cultures rise, grow, and succeed, not just a certain culture. But see, that's the whole point, sir, of the conversation this morning. What we're trying to say is this morning is, are MAGA's policies helping all cultures, or is it just helping one certain particular culture? And Donnie, per se, if it is helping all cultures, what I'm trying to say is then why does black people feel a certain way about the policies of President Trump and MAGA, black and brown people? That's the question this morning, guys. And so starting right there, I just want to let you guys know this is so important. From a political strategy, from a standpoint of a strategy standpoint, if your MAGA or if your Republican Party or if your political movement is geared specifically towards a certain race of people or a certain group of people, I'm saying if you coming out and you putting President Obama's face and Michelle Obama's face on some monkeys, if you overly aggressive with your policing and you killing American citizens, y'all get where I'm coming from? I'm saying if you targeting Hispanic people and Latino people, it don't matter if they're American citizens or not, you arresting them. What does MAGA mean to you? And starting off from that place today, I want to say the U.S. population is becoming more diverse. And I'm sorry, guys, this is from USA Facts, and it was published on August in 2024. The U.S. population is becoming more diverse. The nation's non-white population has almost doubled over the past 4 decades, growing about 24% of the population in 1990 to over 40% in 2023. So that's what I'm telling you guys. That's where I started, Donnie, as a political strategist. 40% of the population is black or brown. How you gonna win a race if you a Republican and you can't reach black or brown people? Or if you have a message that's not geared towards helping black or brown people? Because I could tell you my opinion, but I'm not gonna sit here and try to bash or down President Trump's administration because I'm not a Democrat, as we know, Donnie. I could tell you guys my opinions of what MAGA means to the black community or what MAGA means to a brown person. But I don't have to tell you my opinion. We could just go by facts. And President Trump's policies, in my opinion, they match almost putting a monkey on the body of Michelle Obama and Barack Obama. His policies match them. You got to go into those communities and show the people that you care about them and their interests. And I agree with you. That's all communities. You already helping the business community. You already helping these other communities with your policies. What I'm saying is, what are you doing for the poor in America? Not just black people, not just brown people, for the poor white. What are you doing for them? What does MAGA mean to a poor man or to a rich man or to a black man? That's the question today. But it is important for the Republican Party to understand, listen, it don't matter where you stand at on this political sphere. It don't matter, Donnie, if you black. It don't matter if you white. None of that matters. What matters to me is the facts. And the facts is, over the years, we look at President Trump's administration. That's the Republican Party. The Democratic Party is definitely more diverse than the Republican Party. This is a representative government. Your government is supposed to represent the people. And according to USA Facts, 40% of our population is black or brown. 40%. You understand that? That means 4 out of 10 people you see are not white people anymore. In 2023, 58% of the population is identified as non-Hispanic white, 20% Hispanic, 13% Black, 6% Asian or Pacific Islander, and 3% other. Of the 335 million people in the U.S., 195 million identified as non-Hispanic white in 2023. Or 12 out of every 20 people. This is down since 1990, and about 15 out of every 20 people identify as white. Guys, the black and brown culture is growing. Let's keep talking about it. The white population share dropped by 17 percentage points. What? The Hispanic population grew from 28 million in 1990 to 65 million in 2023, an increase of 42%. The Asian or Pacific Islander population has also increased, up from 7 million to 21 million. This has changed the racial landscape of the United States. The share of the population for both groups more than doubled, with Hispanics growing from 9% to 20% and Asian or Pacific Islanders from 2.8% to 6.4%. The Hispanic population is now the largest non-white group in the United States. So that means that now, when I grew up, it was basically white or black primarily. We talking about the early 80s. We talking about in the South and Mississippi, that's where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? It's you white or you black. I'm saying slowly but surely we start seeing different ethnic groups, Vietnamese people. But now today, we talking about in 2026, there's more Hispanics than blacks in America. The black population increased from 29 million to 42 million, while its share of the U.S. population has remained relatively steady at 12.6%. Guys, I'm letting you guys know this, and I'm bringing this up because as a political strategist, if I look at the political moves of President Trump and MAGA, how can you not understand that America is changing? America's not the same right before our eyes. Donnie, tell me if I'm not right or if I'm wrong. I'm finna give y'all the numbers already amongst Americans under the age of 18. So if we look at all Americans who are under 18 years old, the black and brown people already outnumber the white people. You a political strategist. Say you a Republican, Donnie. Say I'm a Republican political strategist, which I'm not. I'm an independent. But say I'm a Republican political strategist and I'm seeing these people getting shot in the face in the streets. And I'm looking forward to the future like Turning Point USA or some organization that's reaching out to the youth. And amongst the youth already, you got more black and brown people than you do whites. 18 years old and under, whites are minorities. Minority white already. So that's the future. I'm a Republican strategist. Remember, that's what goes always on. This is what makes this live stream different than other political live streams because I talk about strategy. So what's the strategy of the Republican Party moving forward without reaching out to black and brown people? That's the question. Is MAGA going to be a political party moving forward that's a part of the Republican Party, or is it going to fade after President Trump? Are they going to keep the legacy going, keep it going, Donnie? Because if they do, then you have to start including black and brown people in that movement. What does Make America Great really mean? I've been asking y'all that this morning. Republicans are aware of the changing demographics and must reach black and brown voters to win. We saw more black males move from the Democratic Party to go vote for President Trump than we have under any Republican in a long time. And I'm saying moving forward, I'm saying if you work for Turning Point USA or you work for any kind of strategical group and you looking at the youth in America, 18 and under, and you seeing that it's more black and brown 18 and under people than it is white people, I'm saying to y'all try to act like identity politics don't matter to you, but you're not a political strategist. I'm not looking at a white voter saying how and who is that white voter voting for, saying because their skin is white like I got a problem with white people. You got to be smarter than a fifth grader. I'm a strategist and I'm trying to strategize with these groups of people and I'm doing studies and I'm doing polling. That's all political science is about. So if you look at the majority of white voters, if I go, Donnie, if I take you to a neighborhood, that's where I started with this content this morning. If I take you to a neighborhood that's a majority white neighborhood, so I'm saying the city and the state matters. Say if you in Texas and you in a majority white neighborhood, who you think they voting for? A majority white neighborhood, primarily, and you in Texas, who you think they gonna vote for? Now, on the other hand, quite contrary, stay in Texas. Let me take you to Acres Home or to a majority black neighborhood in Dallas or even in Austin, anywhere in the state, who you think they're voting for? I'm saying we can't split them. You got black people that vote for Republicans, but we're going to look at nationwide. What's the number of black people voting for Republicans? You say 10%. So are the fight for over Latinos. What's the number of Latinos voting Republican? If you looking at a demographic of America, a future America, 18 years and under, that's black and brown, primarily with whites being the minority, I would tell you that bodes well for the Democrats. Is President Trump and the Republicans, are they scared of that? Donnie, ask a question, my brother. Is Make America Great mean that we're going to suppress and we're going to try to stop America from becoming a majority black and brown country? What does a brown America look like? Is MAGA afraid of a brown America? President Trump, is he afraid of a brown America? I'm saying, would a brown America look like Latin American countries? Guys, these are all a lot of good questions that I think that we should be asking each other today. Right before our eyes, we are watching America change and America becoming more brown than it ever has before. Guys, this next bit of information or data I'm giving you is coming from Brookings Education, right? A new census population projects confirm the importance of racial minorities as a primary demographic engines of the nature's future growth. I already told you, majority of the 18-year-olds in America, majority of the people under 18 in America are minorities. I already told you that. Countering an aging and slow growing and soon to be declining white population. The majority of the white people in America, their population is declining. Why is that, Ghost? The new statistics project that the nation will become minority white in 2045. Is that what MAGA is about? Is that what MAGA is afraid of? Becoming minority white? That's a good conversation. That's a question. If I look at President Trump's cabinet, if I look at some of President Trump's moves, some of his decisions, and some of his policies, as we ask a black person, what does MAGA mean to them? Does we have any black people in the stream? Better yet, do we have any black MAGA? Y'all get down in the comments. Y'all tell me, what does, as a black man, what does MAGA mean to you? During that year, whites will comprise of 49.7% of the population, in contrast to 24.6% for Hispanics, 13.1% for blacks, 7.9% for Asians, and 3.8% for multiracial. Basically, that means that if you break down the groups in the sections, there will be more white people than any other singular group. But if you put the Asians together with the multiracials, with the black people and the Hispanics, if you put the black and brown people together, they will become the majority. It is predicted, according to Brookings, by 2045. I say it's going to happen quicker than that. What does that mean? What does that look like? A brown America will look like, we got examples. We got Texas. We got California. So you'll look at all of America pretty much looking like Texas or California. Maybe not in all neighborhoods, but I'm saying overall, America, among the minority populations, the greatest growth is projected for multiracial populations, Asians and Hispanics, with 2018 to 2060 growth rates of 176 for Asians, 93 for Hispanics, and 86% for multiracial. That is unbelievable. 176% growth, for the multiracial populations. So that means there's going to be a lot of mixing of races. The multiracial population, guys, this is so profound. It might not be juicy, it might not be, but the multiracial populations in America is going to grow faster, twice as fast as Hispanic. Asians, 86%, Hispanics, 93%, but multiracial, 176%. The projected growth rate for black people during this time is 34%. The demographic source of growth varies across groups. For example, immigration contributes to 1/3 of Hispanic growth over this time period. Guys, those questions I asked you mean so much. Because what's spawning or contributing to the growth in America of minorities is immigration. And so if we understand that immigration is one of the biggest contributors to the growth of minority in America, does it start making sense a little bit to you, Donnie? first 24 minutes that we've been streaming, I've been getting to my point. I'm trying to litigate my case, get to my point. What your point is? My point is that I think President Trump and them, they might be trying to stop the growth as best as they can of blacks and Hispanics. Does make America great again mean make America white again? Is that what it means? It's just a question, man. I'm just figure it out. Because I'm saying, if you look at the immigration policies, why is President Trump going so hard on immigration? Targeting certain groups and races of people. And then most of the people he's targeting, they're not white people. And that's facts. Donnie says, I'm a black libertarian that supports MAGA and I enjoy my legal migration, Latino neighbors. But that's the question, though. I understand, Donnie, it's about legality. It's all about legality. We want to make sure that they're legal. You know what I'm saying? I'm an independent. I'm not a Democrat, so I could challenge you on that about, you know what I'm saying, corruption and not being corrupt and acting like we're not corrupt. I could challenge you on that, but more, it sounds more like, to me, Donnie, in my opinion. And I know you're a libertarian, so that's where your politics are, Donnie, but I'm going to say, how could we not say that it looks like with President Trump's policies, he's trying to look, I could play you stuff that the Republicans and the people on his side that he listens to and his advisors, what they believe is like in reverse migration. Y'all ain't heard that? Them telling people to go back to where they came from, their countries. Let's find something out about reverse migration, because I think this matters, Donnie. I think it's important, and I think it relates to politics specifically, because we know as strategists, I know that if you got a community of majority black people, they probably voting Democratic. That's just facts. Donnie, you'll be a Republican in there. There'll be some. Let's before we do that, let's look up, Donnie, how many, because this is, you say it's identity politics if you want to. This matters. How many black people, let's look up how many black people voted Republican in 2024. How many black people voted Republican in 2024? In the 2024 presidential election, approximately 15% of black voters cast their ballots for the Republican candidate, Donald Trump, according to validated voter data from the Pew Research Center. This represents a significant increase from the 8% who supported him in 2020 and 6% in 2016. So what I'm saying is Donnie, is that President Trump raised his support starting in 2016 when he first ran for president. It was at 6% amongst blacks. In 2020, it went up 2% to 8%. He won in 2016, not the popular vote. He didn't win in 2020, not the popular vote. But when he doubled in 2024, when he doubled, almost tripled from his original 6% to 15% in 2024, what happened? The Republican Party, if they're not that smart, they might not be that smart. Donnie, I know they started courting black votes more. I know President Trump was trying to do stuff for the HBCUs. I know he had a bunch of stuff going on. He was letting a lot of black rappers out of jail, so he holding Nicki Minaj's hand. He recognizes that the black vote is significant. Because you Republican strategists might not know this, but when President Trump was getting 6% of the vote, I don't care if he beat Hillary Clinton in the electoral map. Amongst the people, he lost by 3 million votes, right or wrong. Okay, he got 8% in 2020 and lost. When he get 15% in 2024, what you have? You have an earthquake. While the vast majority of black voters, 83%, continue to support the Democratic candidate, that's not enough for the Democrat to win. We could move an election You guys are worried for you guys saying that this is identity politics. You don't understand how strategy works. You can move an election from that 6% to 15% of black voters. You can remove the power from the Democrats. You can make the Democrats a non-effective party. And the Republicans just show, look, the last 5 elections that you have after George Bush, if you go previous to that, the Democrats had Clinton, the Republicans get 2 terms of Bush, and then let's go after Bush. You get Barack Obama 2 terms. After Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton beat Donald Trump in the populist vote, and so did Joe Biden 4 times out of 5. But when Donald Trump comes and support amongst black men rose to 21%, and that's a 35-point difference in the margin compared to 2020. President Trump got 35% more amongst support amongst black men within a 4-year period. And we see the results. Young black voters, age 18 to 30, his support reached 30%. Roughly 12% of black voters identifies Republican or lead Republican. Those might be some numbers that you guys don't know. So that's what I'm trying to say. If you're talking about MAGA moving forward, imagine how much putting President Obama's face on a monkey, imagine how much that hurts you with the black voters. Especially you talking about, you look at a black voter as a black voter being a low propensity type voter. In a midterm election, they really don't vote as much anyway. So I'm saying all the support for Republicans you got to get your little wave, because your lead in the House of Representatives for Republicans is 1 seat. And in the Senate, it's like 3 seats. So you got a very small lead. You need to keep your coalition together. Because what Ghost is saying, if you go back to that 6% of black support in your midterm elections, Republicans, good luck. That's all I'm going to tell you. Good luck. It's going to be a long night. If you guys haven't liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Donnie says Latino voters matter more. I'm glad you said it, Donnie. Let's go to the Latino vote. How many Latino voters voted Republican in 2024? What I'm trying to tell you, Donnie, is that a lot of times the black and brown vote, you can count it together. I asked y'all the same question so y'all could get it. I'm trying to get y'all to a political strategy point. Thinking like a political strategist, because that's how I'm thinking when I'm talking about certain races and groups of people and how they vote. If we go to a community that's primarily Latino, that matters. Because if you in Miami, you could say that they were Republican. If I asked you about a white community in Texas, you say, yeah, we agree, probably going to be Republican. I asked you about a black community in Texas, yeah, it's probably going to be a Democrat, but a Latino community, it could be a crapshoot. You don't know. They could be going left, or they could be going right. But I'm saying for the majority, let's look at how Latinos voted in the 2024 elections. Donald Trump may have broken Latino vote record for a Republican with 42% of his votes. So I'm saying breaking the record for Republican is getting slightly over 40%. They 6 out of 10 of them still voting for a Democrat. And that's what you breaking a record. Trump bested George W. Bush 2004 total, where he got about 15%, which performance with this, which accounts for about 15% of the total population. So the Hispanics are a large growing group. But he said President Trump got George Bush's totals. Trump's share of Latino vote is a major improvement from his first campaign when in 2016, he got 28%. So in 2016, Donnie, let me get this right. You had 72% of Latinos voting against President Trump. And what percent of black people we said you had voting against him? About 80-something, 90%. That's why you lose by 3 million votes. That's why you lose by 3 million votes. That black and brown vote combined. If you say Latino vote is more important, it is more important. But it's the same thing. It's the same movements. That's what I'm saying. That's why I put it together. And I'm trying to tell any Republican, if it's Karl Rove, they probably already know it. But I'm saying the leader of your party, he doesn't govern like he understands what I'm telling you. America is becoming a brown country. If you look at the youngsters, people who are under 18 years old, it's more black and brown of them. And you see, we going over the numbers. In 2016, he only got 28% of the. In 2020, he got 32%. You can't win with that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why it's important. The future of Republican politics, if you got a Nick Fuentes in your party, you're going to get demolished. Because it's going to be more black and brown people than white people, and all white people not racist. A lot of white people. See, I asked you about that white community in Texas. If you were Austin, and most of those communities in Austin are primarily white. So if you in a Austin in an all-white neighborhood, that neighborhood very well could be Democratic still. Democrats get a lot of votes from white people as well. But I'm saying they really could count on the black vote. And the Hispanic vote, they getting the majority of the Hispanic vote, they still getting 6 out of 10, and that's on the down year. You see what I'm saying? That black and Hispanic vote, which tends to lean to the left, which tend to vote Democratic, in 2045, it's going to be the majority of the population, the majority vote. You say 2045, yeah, that's less than 20 years away, and it can happen before then. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It can happen before then. The Republicans are having their convention in Houston, Texas. I think they realize, go to Houston, go around the city. What you saying, black and brown, that matters. So I'm saying you need to get policies that's not, listen, if you need black and brown people to win an election, say in the midterms, Donnie, I'm trying to, America is not the same country it was in the 80s. If you want to make America great again, you want to make America what? Now, I ain't trying to say white again, because let's ask a black person, what does make America great mean to you? Let's ask a black person. That's what I'm saying, Donnie. And this ain't the 80s when the black and brown vote wasn't as significant. It is majorly significant today. You're not going to win an election pretty much almost in any community in America that you in without the black and brown vote. What does MAGA mean? MAGA mean to a black person? Let's see what we come up with. Like I said, ghosts ain't out there, you know what I'm saying? You know, asking people, but let's ask a couple of black people what MAGA mean to them. Let's see who this is. Who this is? Ma'am, what does MAGA mean to you as a black female?
When he talks about,
what does MAGA mean to
When
you?
was America last?
Black female.
it's clear that when he talks about MAGA, he talks about taking back this country. He's talking about putting his foot on our necks and holding us down and making sure that we don't continue to progress. That's what it's all about. You can't paint this any other way. It's clear that when he talks about MAGA, he talks about taking back this this country. He's talking about putting his foot on our necks and holding us down.
That to a lot of black people, that's what MAGA means to them. A lot of black people, that's what it means to them. I'm saying we can ask a Hispanic person, what does MAGA mean to them? But I'm saying if you going out there and you grabbing a bunch of Hispanic people that are American citizens, Donnie, I'm saying, what does MAGA mean to you if you go ask a Hispanic person today in 2026 with President Trump's immigration policies? Y'all starting to get the picture. It's been 40 minutes now. I've been cooking for 40 minutes. America is not white no more. I'm saying we saying 2045, in my opinion, it's going to happen before then. President Trump is actively attempting to deport a lot of Hispanics because a third of their growth is coming from that. And I'm saying I'm saying you get another Democrat who opened the doors up like that within the next Democratic presidency, white people could become a minority. I'm telling you. Him opening up the doors. Let's talk about migration. Y'all know what migration is? Let's talk about migration in the U.S. And let's see, let's see if we could get some kind of, let's see if we could get some kind of government agency talking about migration. Let's see if we could get some, because guys, what migration is when a bunch of different ethnic groups come to a certain area. And those ethnic groups coming to America, they're saying the same things happening in Europe, across the entire world. A lot of these countries who are majority white, it's like the brown people in the world are becoming the majority. That's in Europe too. If you go in Africa, of course, across the continent of Africa, it's majority black, of course. If you go across into Asia, of course, across the continent of Asia, it's majority brown. South America, you go, it's majority brown. Well, we're saying that's happening in Europe and America too. And the question is, Donnie, is President Trump and them, are they terrified of that? Are they trying to deport? Is that the reason why they trying to deport brown people? Because America is becoming a brown nation right before our eyes. It's happening. Let's look at the states that's majority minority. Let's look at the states. So what states in the United States is majority minority? That's our question. We're going to ask AI that. Can y'all tell me, y'all say Texas, y'all say California, what states in U.S. are majority minority? What y'all think? As of 2024, there are 9 U.S. states and the District of Columbia are majority minority, meaning over 50% of their population consists of racial or ethnic minority groups. These states are Hawaii, California, New Mexico, Texas, Nevada, and Maryland, Georgia, Florida, and New Jersey. So out of those states, you got Texas. Nevada, I would say probably would be a purple state, or it goes back and forth. You got Texas, Georgia, and Florida. And the Democrats should be winning. You see them win big race in Georgia. Y'all expect Florida to follow. Y'all expect Jasmine Crockett to win in Texas. They gonna follow. Why wouldn't it follow what happened? I'm saying Maryland, they voting blue primarily. Hawaii, voting blue. California, blue. Nevada is flipping. New Jersey, blue. And I'm saying just like we saw in Miami, where a Democrat broke a stronghold, a 30-some year Republican stronghold, don't be surprised if you see Democrats winning. We seen them win in the special elections in 2025. What goes saying wrong? So I'm saying in these states that are majority minority, like Florida, don't be surprised if you see a Democrat come through and win a monumental race that y'all weren't expecting in Georgia. Yeah, that's going to happen sooner than later. We see it starting to happen in Georgia. Democrats winning. And we talking about Georgia is 48%, but it's rapidly diversing. And as we see Georgia 48% rapidly diversing, we see Democrats come in and start winning in places that you don't see them winning. That happened in Florida in the special election. It's going to happen again. Don't be surprised when Jasmine win in Texas. That's what I'm telling you. In these majority minority states, look, Texas, approximately 55 to 56% with significant growth in minority communities. And Texas is coming. Texas is going blue, baby. That's what's going to happen, Donnie. I'm trying to tell you. Georgia's going to end up blue. I believe Florida's going to end up blue. That's what I really believe. Let's look at it. Let's look at are there more Democrats, registered voters, Democrats than Republicans in Florida? Let's look it up. What y'all think? Are there more registered Democrats than Republicans in Florida? No, sir, that's not true. Republicans have a significant advantage over Democrats. There's over 1 million more registered voters. And so Florida's still a stronghold. Well, if we see that in Florida, let's look up in Georgia. Is there more Democrats in Georgia? Because I'm telling you, it's a fight. It's a fight for that minority support. It's a fight for it with the Republicans and Democrats. All black people don't vote Democrat. Donnie's showing you that. He said he's a black libertarian. Brian C., he's a black conservative. We got a lot of black conservatives in this stream. All black people don't vote Democrat. You fighting for the votes. That's why I asked you, what does MAGA mean to you? Let's see, are there more Democrats than Republicans in Georgia? We asking the AI. In Georgia, the Republican holds more power at the state level, while Democrats have seen recent success in federal and certain statewide elections. State House, 99 Republicans versus 79 Democrats, 33 Republicans versus 23 Democrats in the Senate. Power split on the federal level. Democrats have both Senate seats in Georgia. Democrats have both Senate seats in Georgia. And Republicans have a 9-5 lead in the House delegation. So guess where we're going next? We're going to Texas. Are there more Democrats than Republicans in Texas? We've seen it happen in Georgia. Maybe it ain't to that point in Florida. There's a lot of Cubans in Florida that vote Republican. But are there more Democrats than Republicans in Texas? Because if there is, all I'm telling y'all guys, it's a matter of time. Democrats than Republicans in Texas. I mean, I think I made my point pretty clear. I'm making my point pretty clear for all the Republicans who will watch this live stream. That indicates that Texas might align with or register more as Democrats. But the Republicans have a long-term voting advantage. Independent voter projection using L2 data as of August 2025, there's 8.1 million registered Democrats compared to 6.6 million registered Republicans in Texas. Y'all know that. We went over this so many times. Same thing with Nevada. It is so important. It is very important to recognize as a Republican, as a strategist, as a political person, it is important for you guys to recognize and understand that you cannot overlook a black person and how they feel in America no more. You can't overlook the Hispanics. You have to cater to the communities of all Americans. because the black and brown vote is so important and is so significant. I'm saying it's important that you reach white people. It's important you go into white communities. It's important that you go into all communities, all Americans. But how many people in this stream, especially black people, could say they felt like the communities have been ignored? That's what I'm saying. Donnie said, would I compromise my values for votes? That's a great question, Donnie. I would never do that. I would never compromise my values for votes if I'm advising a candidate. But what I will do, Donnie, because in America we live in a representative government. So what I will do, I will advise a candidate to try to make a compromise that helps the people. That's what I believe in. I believe in bipartisanship. I believe in unity. I believe in a government that functions different than what we see President Trump's government function as, mainly or primarily over the last few months. Definitely over the last few months. You could talk to some black people, Donnie, and they'll tell you over the last few years. It's unbelievable. And I'm saying, if you know politics like I know politics, you just got to be telling yourself in a million ways that there's no way that this could be coming from the White. That's why Tim Scott pulling his hair out. Man, look how many black voters we reached. Look how many Hispanic voters we reached. Making America great again, adding black and brown voters. Guys, we know, if you know politics, we all know that the Republican Party over the years, y'all want to look at the candidates that the Republican Party have nominated? How many black candidates have the Republican Party ever nominated for president? I know you nominated a woman, right? Few women, couple women. How many Hispanics the Republicans ever nominated for president, Donnie? That matters. You can't tell me that. Listen, we have a representative government. So, Donnie, what that means is, and I've said this before a couple of times, I said it back then, and I said it like on the Texas tour. I talked about this more. With the representative government, that means that I'm going to go to Walmart up here in New York City. Okay? And I'm going to go to Target, and I'm going to go to a shopping stop. Go to 3 stores. And every 10 people, I'm going to count how many females. So I see you got 6 females out of 10. Sample of the population. Just give you a quick, easy way you could do it. So I say, okay, I go to Walmart. You got 6 females for every 4 males. Got it. So I look and I say, so how many black people you got? Oh, well, you got about 2 black people for every 10 people. Got it. How many Hispanic people? You got about 3 Hispanic people for every. Got it. So out of 10 people, Donnie, 5 of them are black and brown, and 5 of them are white. So we go look at the seat of your power in your government, and all your leaders are white males. You got more females than you have males in your community, and you got more minorities than you have whites in your community. This is a representative government. Your government is supposed to look like or represent the community. And yes, it's not about no DEI, but the races matter. This is my question, Donnie. If we say that race don't matter, so Donnie, we gon' so would you put 2 white girls to work in a Dollar General by themselves at 10 o'clock at night? You put 2 white girls to work in South Central Los Angeles in a Dollar General in an all-black neighborhood in the South Side of Chicago to work the night shift. 2 white girls by themselves. It ain't got nothing to do with race, but bro, listen, people could relate better to other candidates and other people that are like them. That's just facts. I said it all the time. President Trump need poor people in his cabinet. He need black people in his cabinet. He need Hispanic people in his cabinet. He need Asian people in his cabinet. His cabinet needs to represent or look like the rest of America. I believe in diversity. I believe if you didn't have a representative government, whatever your government is, your government is. We have a representative government. So I think our government is supposed to represent the people. It don't make no sense that your country is 40% minority, but your government will be 90% white. That don't make no sense. You're not representing the people. Does that make sense? Donnie says, how many will vote blue when all the social supports run out? A fraction. Yeah, maybe so, Donnie. But you saying social support, it's not about social support. It's about helping the people. If whichever party is more willing to help the people, you could call it social support if you want to. Maybe, Donnie, that's the word for it. But I'm saying whichever party is more helping the people, that's the party that's going to win. We do this all the time, Donnie. You say it's social support. That's what you call it, my brother. But it's helping the people. Is it called social support? That's what you call it? We do this all the time. It's helping the people. Donnie says, I will put 2 white girls there because those are Democrat. But it's not about politics. It's about them being safe. And I'm saying, if you in a neighborhood where, listen, this don't have nothing to do with race. I know if I got 2 white girls in an all-black neighborhood working that's why you go to the dollar store, you probably going to, in a black neighborhood, you probably going to see black people working in there. Because they probably can identify better with each other. I'm saying you don't want to put 2 people that you would feel out of place or harm. Them girls probably wouldn't even feel safe going to work. They would feel out of place. You see what I'm saying? If you had a white girl working in there with more black people, you know what I'm saying, in a black neighborhood, that'll work. But you definitely wouldn't want to put all white. It don't make sense. You're going to put people that are more like them. It don't matter about their race, but I'm saying that they're black people, then you identify with people. Look, we've done scientific studies like this. If you take 25 people and put them in the room, more than likely, I'm saying you're going to have a black person kicking it. Well, the black people going to be mostly with black people, and people going to hang around. They identify better with people who are like them. It's not identity politics, in my opinion. It's just facts. You see what I'm saying? But Donnie, I'm just playing this for you. You saying about so Donnie says, let's see, he says, how many will vote blue when social supports run out? A fraction. But you saying social? Oh, you mean so Donnie's saying like when they run out completely and totally. But Donnie, I just want to play this for you because ain't nobody gonna vote for no Republican if you're not. No one's gonna vote for a candidate who's not helping people.
Processing what President Trump said during my show. It was stunning.
There's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. You just say it. Affordability. I inherited the worst inflation in history. There was no affordability. Nobody could afford any of it. The word affordability is a con job by the Democrats.
Immediately, while I was still on set, my phone was blowing up.
Y'all know we heard about that. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. And that's what I'm saying to y'all. That's the point, Donnie. There's no, if you're not in your mind, if you don't have it set that as a politician, this is any politician running for any political office in America. It's just that you're going to feel this more on a federal level, definitely, and definitely on the presidential level. You're going to feel it more what I'm talking about. If you don't have a policy or a program in your mind to help them, all the people. But as a strategist, Donnie, it's about numbers. It's a numbers game. I'm talking black. I'm talking white. I'm talking what y'all say identity politics, but it's numbers. If you get more voters that's likely to vote Democratic, if you go in a neighborhood that's all Hispanic, and I know that President Trump on a good year got 4 out of 10 Hispanics, and on a bad year, he got about a quarter of them. And on a good year, he getting out of 4 out of 10. So I know when I see Hispanics and I know immigration like that, I know if I go in a majority Hispanic neighborhood, it almost don't matter what state I'm in. I'm thinking that it's going to be a large fraction of those people, a large fraction of them are Democrats. That's just facts. It's about numbers. Same thing with a black neighborhood, so it's all about numbers. It's not about race necessarily. It's about numbers. You know, if you don't have the numbers, it don't make no sense, Donnie, what we talking about. The Republicans do not have the numbers without black and brown people. The majority of the people concentrated in the impoverished neighborhoods who President Trump needs to be helping are black and brown people. What are we talking about? If you take away the social programs, Donnie, you whichever party that they say is responsible for taking away the social programs will definitely be on the sidelines within the next 4. You're going to have a Democrat-controlled Congress. I'm talking about House of Representatives and Senate, and Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris going to be your president in 2029. And y'all going to start in 2029. Y'all going to be inaugurating a Democrat. Keep on down that path. I'm trying to tell you, you don't have the numbers to do this without the black and brown community. And the black and brown community, majority of listen, this is what I'm trying to tell you. How many Americans make less than? How many Americans? Here, let me do it on YouTube so I could play it for y'all so y'all can hear it. I like doing that. I can't wait to start screen sharing. How many Americans make less than $100K a year? Because if you got a family and you making less than $100,000 a year in this economy, I'm telling you, things are not all as great as you say it can. So look, well, that video gonna take too long. It says, while 100K salary can't buy the American dream. Let's do it like this. How many Americans make less than 100K a year, Donnie? How many you say, Donnie? How many? 75 to 80% of American households and over 80% of individual income makers make less than 100K a year. That's AI overview. It looks like, Donnie, every single time we go and ask how many Americans make less than 100,000 a year, it's even more and more. 2024 household data, according to Statistica, about 16.7% of U.S. households earn between 100K and 149K, meaning nearly 83% earn below 150,000%. 150,000, and the vast majority below $100,000 a year. They look at gender. We look at age. You look at race. I'm saying the majority, Donnie, you don't have the numbers. If you got 3 out of 4 Americans making less than $100,000 a year, if you got a family with $100,000 a year, you are struggling. You don't believe me? So what percent of Americans say that the economy is not doing good? I'm giving you all the numbers today. What percent of Americans say the economy is not doing good? What percent y'all think? If we look at a poll, what poll y'all want to use? In 2026, roughly 70 to 75% describe the U.S. economy as only fair or poor. So with 75 to 80%, they're saying that makes less than 100,000 a year, and 70 to 75% of them saying that it's poor. Put it together, Donnie, because the majority of the people who making less than $100,000 a year are struggling. That's what that is. And the people who are struggling are saying that the economy is poor because President Trump has not done anything to help the people at the bottom. That's just facts. And I'm talking about that, Donnie, because you said that about social classes, and it's important. And I'm saying, and on top of all of this, y'all talk about identity politics, on top of all this other stuff that we have with the poor and the Republicans struggling within in these minority communities and the minority community, President Trump posting, I mean, what, Donnie, so you say it's not significant that president, because we seeing one thing for certain and two things for sure. Good morning, Titan Brew. What's up, baby? I'm gonna get down there in the morning. A moment, I'm gonna go ahead and pin your comment. This is what I'm saying. So, Donnie, listen to this though. So you see, when the black vote started going towards President Trump, what the Hispanic vote did? Oh, they started going towards him too. Also, the black and brown community together. Yeah, all of a sudden, 2016, he gets 6% of the black vote, and where he get about what percent of the Hispanic vote? About 28% in 2016. So in 2020, I'm up to 8% of the Hispanic vote. Yeah, I'm up to 30% of the 30% of the Hispanic vote. Hey, you get what I'm saying? The black, once he get to 40%, 42% of Hispanics and 15% of blacks, the blacks and Hispanics, they moving together. They're not exactly voting together. You got more Republican Hispanics than you got Republican blacks. But what I'm saying, there's a large segment of the black and Hispanic population, they voting together. So I'm saying if you got a lot of Hispanics, you got a lot of black people who are poor, that's number one. Which one of his policies, Donnie, is helping the poor? Number two, if you got a lot of black people, you got a lot of Hispanics. Number two, I'm saying you deporting, you grabbing, snatching, and arresting Hispanics based off of how they talk or them just being Hispanic. This is wide known across America. Immigration, that's hurting you with your Hispanics. I'm saying what we talking about. On top of that insult to injury, we gonna put monkey body. I'm saying that, look, that Greenland stuff and all that other stuff, that just exacerbates the situation with all the communities across America. But I'm saying if you were a Republican strategist in election year and you were acting like President Trump, then I would be trying to take over the elections too. That's what I'm saying, Donnie. I see why I see why he first called Texas, try to get them to cheat. When that didn't work, he gonna just try to take the elections. Oh, the Democrats cheat, let me cheat. Because he know what's coming down the pipeline. I'm saying if you know that you need, this ain't just in 2026 the Republicans need black and brown voters. They're going to need them in 28. So y'all going to get cream crocked in the presidential election because you posting pictures. I'm saying Senator Scott, he got to be screaming at the top of his lungs. Even J.D. Vance, are the Republicans aware of this? They need black and brown voters. They're 40% of the population and growing. The white people, they're declining. I'm saying you don't have to try to deport all the black and brown people because you're not going to be able to do it. All you got to do is get you some policies that comes to address their needs. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. President Trump, he brag about, the crime bill and the HBCU. Let's hear President Trump. What President Trump said he did for the black community. In which term, President Trump? Was that your first term? This your second term. What you gonna do for the black community now? This is important, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is important. I'm saying you can help all communities, and he is helping all communities, but I'm saying what you doing for the black community? Nah, President Trump.
Why he shared a video on social media that includes one of the oldest and most hateful racist tropes, portraying former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle as apes. The president now saying he didn't see it.
I didn't see the whole thing. I guess during the end of it, there was some kind of a people don't like. I wouldn't like it either, but I didn't see it.
The video, which we are not showing, was on President Trump's Truth Social account for hours. Earlier today, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt pushed back on what she called, quote, fake outrage. Then the White House said a staffer posted it erroneously. Now tonight, the president himself saying he only watched the start of the minute-long video, which describes debunked election conspiracy theories. At the end, it cuts to an animated meme that puts the faces of Barack and Michelle Obama on the bodies of apes. No response from the Obamas tonight, but former Vice President Kamala Harris writing
I'm saying, Donnie, you got more black voters in 2018 in 2024 than you ever did. You got more black males. That's what you need. It's like you recognize the Republicans and presidents, they recognize the need. They see what's going on. Is that why they trying to deport all the black and brown people, to try to even up the numbers? Because they see what's going on. So you recognize the need. So how I'm going to address this, listen, Donnie, listen to me. In politics, I'm a strategist. I'm trying to talk to y'all from the point of a I'm not here to entertain you. I'm giving you strategy of why the Democrats are being successful in these elections and why the Republicans are getting cream crop. This is the strategy. So I'm saying you trending in the right direction. So you know that within 10 to 15 years, probably 10 to 15 years, you know America is going to be a minority white country. That means it's going to be more black and brown people in America than white people, like Texas, like California, like Nevada, like Maryland. We just went over this. So you know America as a whole is coming to that. So in order for you to win any election, you're going to have to get about 60%, at least 40% of Hispanics, and you probably need about 15 to 20% of the black vote. You need that. You can make America great again. You can have an all-white cabinet. You could do all of that. But you know you're going to need a good portion of Hispanics because they're growing. They're outnumbering you white people. You can't just be about white issues. You got to deal with minority communities from the Republican Party. We don't see that from the Republican Party. Look, I want to do this real quick. How many minorities in the Republican Party compared to in the Democratic Party? You think it don't matter, Donnie? Does it matter to you? Listen, if I'm a black man, Donnie, you say you a black libertarian and you look at the Republican Party and you didn't see no black people in the Republican Party. That wouldn't look strange to you? Forget DEI. But I'm saying what that's saying is what President Trump's saying, oh, there's no black people that's qualified to be in my cabinet. We get rid of DEI. There's no blacks in America. Black people, 2 out of 10 people in America black, right? There's no blacks in America qualified. I'm saying you got what? 3 out of 10 are Hispanic, right? Or about almost 3 out of 10. There's no Hispanics. Oh, Marco Rubio. That's what I'm saying. That's what y'all got to understand, bro. It ain't forget DEI. The majority of America is about to be black or brown. Forget DEI. Black people and Hispanic people, y'all don't even have to worry about DEI no more. The power is going to the black and brown. That's where the power in America is going. So I'm saying, what's America going to look like? The top of America going to look like South Africa did. Where 90% or more, I don't know the exact numbers of the country, is black, but the country's ran by white people. You see what I'm saying? That's not a representative government. A representative government is the inclusion of all races and minorities. You got to understand that. So I'm saying y'all trending in the right direction. You moving in the right direction. You get more Hispanics. You get more black people than you ever did in this election. And then we monkeying. We Obama monkey story. Look, that's what I'm doing today. That's what we doing today. We getting all facts, or as many facts as we can. I'm trying to litigate my case. I'm down in the comments with y'all. I'm making my point. America's becoming brown. Let's see. ICE grabbing American Latinos. Let's see if we can find something on YouTube about that. U.S. citizen detained by ICE. It's a bunch of these stories, y'all. Look, Donnie, this is what I'm saying. Donnie, this is my question. Okay? You know you need Hispanics. You know you need blacks. Okay? You know you need Hispanics and you know you need blacks. So we seen the monkey story, Donnie. We seen the monkey video. I don't know how you're going to win Republicans into MAGA or win blacks into MAGA and Republicans because you know you need to be pulling them. But you've got the Obamas on money. You can't. But okay, so besides that, okay, forget the black people. Like Donnie said, the Latinos are more important.
Provided us with documentation of his legal status. He says this experience has shaken his faith in the immigration enforcement efforts of President Donald Trump, for whom he voted, he says. This is what Yenzi Machado managed to record on his phone Wednesday. He says while he was driving to work with two other men, he was stopped by ICE agents on Lamont Drive in Manassas, a short distance from his home. He says he was confused by what was happening, why agents surrounded the pickup truck. He spoke with our sister station, Telemundo 44 reporter Rose Beliz Quinones, who was the first to report his story.
And they just got out of the car with the guns in the hands and say, turn off the car, give me the keys, open the window. And, everything was really fast.
Machado says the agents said the name of a man they were seeking for a deportation order, someone who had given Machado's home address. He said that was not his name, and he did not know anyone by that name. He offered to show them this, his real ID compliant Virginia driver's license.
And you wonder what happened in Virginia. You wonder why you losing Hispanics in Virginia. You wonder why you got demolished in Virginia in the special election. And Donnie, if the midterms happen, Donnie already know it because Donnie's smart. They finna get demolished again. It's happening all over America. And it was a perfect video that I chose because the dude said he voted for President Trump. Hispanic male in Virginia voted for President Trump. And ICE grabbing him, he offering to show him his Virginia driver's license. And they don't care, they detaining him. I'm saying, Donnie, what does make America great? Y'all get it? It's been 1 hour and 16 minutes. Y'all been rocking with me for the beginning. Y'all get it? What does make America great again? You can't make America white again. It's not going to happen. America brown. You could deport as many Hispanics as you want to. You can't play chess. You deporting Hispanics, you can't deport enough of them to make them go back to that 28% voting Republican. But it's probably going to be 25% voting Republican. Now, you're going back to your original numbers when you lost to Hillary Clinton by 3 million votes. Original numbers. And you don't have President Trump on the ballot. Republicans going to get cream crop. I don't see how y'all think. I don't see how any Republican think y'all have any kind of chance of winning in the midterms. And this has nothing to do with ghosts, and I'm not no Democrat, and I'm not Don Lemon, or I'm not Roland Martin, I'm not no black power kind of person. I'm just being real with you. They beating y'all in every single argument. It's about the black and brown communities. That's how we win elections in these states that are majority black and brown. We got to change politics towards them. I'm saying you got Illinois. Illinois wasn't. You think about Chicago, how big Chicago is. You think about how many Hispanics are in the city of Chicago, how many black people. But still, Illinois is in majority. Black wasn't on the list. So I'm saying even in states like that where you might have majority white people, they still voting blue. I'm saying the Republicans going to get cream crop if they do not start generating policies for black and brown people. I'm making my point. I'm gonna get down in the comments with y'all, Titan Brew, because I'm telling you, you don't have the numbers. This isn't about race. It's about numbers. Wake up! You don't have the numbers. You can't go all white as a Republican anymore, or all white and one Uncle Tom black dude. You can't do that. Not as a Republican. You can't do that. America is brown. 40% of America, 4 out of 10 people in America are not white. And you cannot get 60% of white people to vote for you. It's a lot of white Democrats. You don't have the number to win without black and brown. Titan says, we have a large tomato farms near where I live in Southwest Florida. They use farm hands to pick tomatoes. No machine could do it without the damaging the tomatoes. And Titan Brew, President Trump is down there in Florida. He deporting all them farm hands that are doing that are immigrants. Titan Brew, that's how many immigrant farmers, how many farmers in Florida would y'all say are immigrants? How many farmers, not farmers, let's say how many farm hands in Florida are immigrants? And if you got immigrants out there, you got a bunch of illegals with them. Florida's agriculture sector is heavily reliant on immigrant laborers, with immigrants both documented and undocumented filling a large proportion of the state's 100,000 farm worker positions. These laborers, primarily from Mexico, Central America, and Haiti, comprise a significant, often majority workforce in nursery, citrus, and produce, with many operating under the H-2A visa program or without legal authorization at all. That's a great point, Titan Brew. A lot of the farm hands across America are immigrants. That's my question. Immigrants, Donnie, make up. And I'm saying as Republicans, yeah, you got to be for legal immigration, but you got to have the right balance. You don't have the numbers. Republicans, you don't have the numbers no more. It's facts. You got to have the right balance. You can't just be snatching American citizens indiscriminately. You can't be killing American citizens. You can't, you turning the white people against you. You turning everybody against you. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to see what President Trump's strategy is. I understand that him trying to make things interesting, and it's worked for him so far, but God says he outthought himself. That's my question. Is he outthinking himself? Long Dixon, you say facts over feeling. Everything I'm giving you is straight facts. That's why I've been on the phone more today. Straight facts. When I tell people Texas is a blue state, they laugh at me. They don't believe me. They don't get it. They don't understand. But any one of y'all could look up right now how many registered Democrats in Texas over registered Republicans, and the registered Democrats outnumber registered Republicans by over 1.5 million. It's clear. It's not even close. It's not like 150,000 difference, so you can say, hey, these are really Republicans. They just miscount. It's not like a 800,000. I'm talking about Texas has a clear advantage in number of registered Democrats than Republicans. The Republicans are this close to never winning another election again. This close. And you can't see it. I promise you that listen, if Turning Point USA gonna represent a Republican Party of the future, that's why you need Nicki Minaj. You can't win an election without black and brown support. Significant numbers of black and brown support as a Republican. You got to change that Republican Party. Point blank, period. It cannot look like it did in the future. It cannot be all white. It's got to be more diverse. You cannot have a president posting pictures of the first black president on monkeys. You cannot be deporting legal Hispanic citizens. what I'm saying wrong. I'm giving y'all straight facts. This is facts over feelings. Everything I'm telling you. Titan says my town is resorts and retirees. We rely heavily on immigrant labor. From housekeeping to produce picking, hardly any white people actually work here. We're mostly retired or tourists, and that's all over Florida. He said most of the white people in his community don't even work. They are retired, or most of them tourists. The people that you seeing working are immigrants. Titan Brew, you see a lot of black people in the communities that's working, that's your workforce. So you talk about the working man, Titan making a point. I didn't even look up the numbers. What percentage of the, because see, if the majority of listen to me. Because we know for a fact white people own the majority of the wealth in America. Like that's not up for dispute, right? So like Titan Bruce said, the majority of them are older. The older generation are white because there's definitely a significant decline in the number of white children being born. The white race is the slowest growing race in America. So if you go in the communities, you see a lot. Like Titan said, in his community, that's a good example. Majority of the white people are retired. They're not the workforce. So when I'm saying you out there politicking for the workforce in Titan's community, they're either black and brown. Because if you already know that, if you look at what they call them, the post-millennials, 18 years and older in America is majority black and brown. The majority of the young people in America are black and brown. As a politician, you got to be aware of this. So that means if those stats are correct in 2026, 18 and under, the majority are black and brown. So that means that the ones becoming 18 or 19, the majority of the new young voters are black and brown. Where your politics? Who they helping? Are you helping their mamas and their aunties and the people in their community? Because they gonna know. And you making them anti-Trump. You making them anti-Republican. That's what you're doing with what you're doing in your moves. You got to realize your moves. Because President Trump, he got 2 years and some change left. Y'all listen to me. You ain't gonna get this nowhere else. Ghost gonna give it to you straight. President Trump got 2 years and some change. Almost 3-4 years, but not quite. He got 2 years and some change left. And post-President Trump, you still going to have a Republican Party. Who you going to have to step up and fill the void? And whoever you got to step up and fill the void, I promise you, Hispanics ain't going to go vote out there for Ron DeSantis. So, okay, we going to nominate a Hispanic President Trump. You know, the Republicans think they're smart. We going to nominate a Hispanic who deport Hispanics like President Trump. And you think just because he is Hispanic, they going to vote for him when his politics are like President Trump. Sure, you going to get more Hispanics to vote for him. I don't think you'll keep the numbers of Hispanics that voted for President Trump with Ron DeSantis. This is a strategy session. I'm not being beautiful and I'm not entertaining you. It's strategy. That's what the Republican strategists are discussing behind closed doors. Can Ron DeSantis keep 42% of that Republican support that President Trump pulled? You know you're going to lose the black voters, but can you pick up more Hispanic voters because his last name's DeSantis and still keep those Republican policies? It's not going to work. Because then you go to social class, because the majority of the voters saying that your economy's not good because you're not getting down there and helping the people. You got to pull the gloves off that old Republican Party, that old Republican Guard, that old we gonna give rich people tax breaks. You got to you're gonna start losing a whole bunch of elections with that. That's all I'm telling you. Ghost here to tell you that an hour and a half. Yes, there is a sustained decline according to provisional 2025 and 2026 data. white births in the United States have officially fallen below 50% of all newborns for the first time in history. And what I'm saying is the Republicans, do they know this? They got to know this, Lone Dixon. Don't they already know this? Because I'm saying they're not governing like they know this. That's what Ghost's point is. I'm saying what I'm saying different today, because if you're just looking at the thumbnail, you're going to be like, oh, he going to be in there talking about ICE. We done talked about ICE 3 times. Oh, there he had the racist conversation. That was the biggest stream he had in a long time, biggest views. We done had the conversation on race. So Ghost talking about it being a brown America, that's the same thing. So that's what I'm saying. We talking about all new statistics, all new data, a whole new conversation. White people, white births are down. So you got to look forward into the future. The millennials, the post-millennials, the new millennials, the 18-year and younger, the ones coming up are majority brown. That's what America going to be. You cannot deport enough Hispanics to change that. You cannot deport enough Haitians to change that. The Democrats beat you to the punch. You got to deal with what it is. Dealing with what it is not putting a monkey on Barack Obama's body, Donnie. Dealing with what it is in trying to snatch all the Haitians, reverse their TPS and snatch Hispanic citizens. That's not dealing with what it is. That's going to get you cream cropped and get you impeached 2 more times. That's what that's going to do. Dealing with what it is rolling your sleeves up and getting in those black and brown communities and doing what he said he did before. Let me play this for you, Donnie, before I get to your comment, Donnie. I'm coming to you, baby. What President Trump said he did, this is what I'm going to do, because I want y'all to hear what he said, all he's done for the black and brown communities. President Trump, HBCU. I think that was in Roland. Well, I seen that on Roland Martin, where he said, well, President Trump, he said what all he's done for the black and brown community. I got to play that for y'all. I got to find that for y'all, guys. Let me go to Roland Martin real quick, and I'm going to play that for you, because that was a video he had yesterday. And I couldn't find that interview, but I seen that interview that he had gave. Here it goes. So y'all give me just a second and I'm going to play this for you, because it's not an interview that you could just find. Where President Trump, I want to play what he said he's done for the black and brown community. And watch how I'm going to do it. This is on a press gaggle, okay? And guys, once again, I got this from Roland Martin. Shout out Roland Martin. I tell you, I'm a connoisseur, you know what I'm saying, of information. That's how you know what's going on. And Roland Martin's one of my listen to. Y'all listen to this. This from Roland Martin show. This President Trump in the interview.
You frequently criticize Joe Biden for not knowing what is going on in his name. This racist video that was posted on your social media.
A hell of a lot better than you do. You don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. Now, Joe Biden didn't have a clue, but we know everything. And when you look at what's happening with our economy, and think of it, we're way years ahead of schedule. We have thousands and thousands of businesses being built right now. So Joe Biden had no clue. If Joe Biden were elected, or if Kamala were elected, we wouldn't have a country right now.
We won the election because of minority voters. Does this post maybe hurt Republicans with...
Guys, she said you won the election because of minority voters. Does this post maybe hurt Republicans? I think of everything that's why I had to find this interview, y'all, because y'all listen to Ghost of everything that I've heard and everything that I've said on this live stream today. It comes down to this comment from President Trump right now. Okay, because if I could ask President Trump that question, that's what I would ask him. I would ask him the same question. Does this post that you did with President Barack Obama, Your immigration policy, you won the election because of minority voters. Understand that. Republicans, you will not win an election moving forward without minority voters. Republicans, understand that. You will not win an election moving forward without minority voters. That's why you won. So I'm glad that reporter said that so y'all could hear that. Let me play that again. Shout out Roland Martin again one more time.
No, Joe Biden didn't have a clue.
So he's starting out, he's talking about Joe Biden. The reporter asked him, she said, you talking about Joe Biden not knowing what's going on. You got staffers who's posting racist stuff and you act like you didn't know what's going on. So what's the difference? So he talking about Joe Biden. Y'all listen to the very next question that reporter asked him.
Won the election because of minority voters. Does this post maybe hurt Republicans with, black voters after the
We did criminal justice reform. I did the historically black colleges and universities. I got that funded. Nobody has been, and that's why I got the highest vote with male black voters that they've seen in many, many decades. I've done great with the black voters. Have been great to me. I've been great to them. Black voters have been great to me. I've been great to them. And I am, by the way, the least racist president you've had in a long time, as far as I'm.
So he telling you what he did for HBCUs. He telling you what he did. He recognizes the importance of reaching black voters. And he went from 6% of the black vote to 8% of the black vote to 15% of the black vote in 3 elections. He was successful in courting black voters. So what I'm saying in the midterms, Donnie or Titan Brew, why put monkeys on President Obama? That's hurting your cause. Why snatch up brown American citizens who voted for you? Guess what? They gonna vote against you now. It's hurting your cause. Is he trying to help the Democrats win the midterm? Is that the strategy? What's the strategy? I'm confused. I'm not getting it. America is becoming brown. We could already say America is majority brown country. You can't make America great again and get rid of the brown people. That's not going to happen, buddy. If that's what your plan is, what you need to do is you need to roll your sleeves up like Ghost started doing. I'm going to finish rolling them up and get down in them communities, them black and brown communities. You said, I did, I helped the HBCUs out. The shout out Roland Martin and continue what he was saying. Since we're using content from his show, he said that Joe Biden and them gave $17 billion to the HBCUs, President Trump, and you gave like $85 million. Not $250 million, you got $85 million. That's what he said. Y'all see I remember them numbers? Yeah. I watched that one time. That's what he said. So you saying you gave to HBCUs, but he's saying you really didn't give as much as Biden. But he said, okay, but I'm saying you need to focus on that. I'm going to give to the HBCUs. I'm going to do criminal justice reform. I'm going to go into the black and brown communities and address what matters to them. Where all my black MAGA people at? Why y'all ain't screaming that out right now? Why y'all ain't saying that? Why Senator Scott didn't say, President Trump, if I could give you just a little bit of advice, maybe this is a springboard and it's time for you come out here to the black community and reach out to the black community. You was doing it in your first administration. You got more blacks to vote for you when you lost because of that. And then you went out there and reached out to blacks again and you got more black men ever. More black people in how many years? So Titan Brew, Donnie, that's the thing. Like, what y'all as Republicans, I'm saying y'all have to focus moving forward. I think that's why J.D. Vance, he said some things that even people, they question. But I'm saying, like, he denounced Nick Fuentes, but the Democrats gonna still say that he too over there gal powering with those white kind of people like that. You got to cut that. You got to cut them ties, man. If you don't cut them ties, then Titan Bruce says farmers have already been selling their land due to import competition. While they're building new communities on that land, and the population is exploding. Traffic here is already a mess, and to more and more people living here, and it's just getting worse. Not to mention, we're using panther habitat to development even more than before. Donnie says, long, it doesn't have to be by hand, though. Look it up. Let's see. You don't like Trump? We will have him tomorrow. I don't understand what that means, but I don't have nothing against President Trump. I don't see how you could say I don't like President Trump, and I'm sitting here telling you about things that Republicans and President Trump are doing wrong to hurt him. If they listen to Ghost from the get-go, that'd be all right. If they listen to Ghost from the get-go, President Trump would have never posted. We could go back before that. We could go back to economic policies from when he first got elected. I heard President Trump say that he think when he was doing the big, beautiful bill. That's what I'm saying. You got to listen to Ghost. You got to listen to people, independent, who understands the future of America. I understand the future of America. That's what I'm saying.
And then specifically on the possibility of an increase in taxes on wealthier Americans, what do you say to conservative Republicans who argue that this is an increase on small business owners?
Well, what we're doing is we're actually, if we ever did that, it would only be, and from what I hear, people would love to do it, rich people. I would love to do it, frankly, but what we'll do is,
He's talking about tax the rich. President Trump, that's on taxing the rich. He said he would love to do it. If you listen to Ghost from the get-go, you'll be okay. Wouldn't be in none of this stuff. The Republicans would win seats. They would have picked up seats, larger than the majority, and you could have kept your agenda going. But instead, what history is going to repeat itself. The Democrats finna come in, and like I predicted and projected, they're going to get at least 10 or 15 seats. They could get 41 seats. If the midterms were held today, the Democrats would pick up 40 seats. Between 30 and 40 seats, just like they did last time. I don't care what the polls say. I'm telling you what's going to happen. They're over-enthusiastic. They done pulled back some of those Hispanics and blacks, and the Republicans are under-enthusiastic. They ain't going to be voting as much. Yeah, the Democrats will pick up at least 25 seats if the midterms were held today. I predict they're going to get 10 or 15 because I believe after a year and a half that President Trump is with to a place that hurts the Republican Party, and he's not going to come back from that spot. He might be able to do that and win. That's what he don't realize. That's what happened in 2018. He could, I'm going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. He could do that and win. But what I'm saying is ain't nobody in his party going to be winning with his antics. You think Lindsey Graham could say that the blacks are eating the cats and the dogs or the Haitians eating the cats and the dogs in Ohio? Lindsey Graham could walk around talking like that. Name the Republican who could do what President Trump does, y'all, and get away with it. Ain't no Republicans really could do what he do and get away with it. Y'all know that. So I'm saying in the off-brand year or off-election year, yeah, he could go out there and he could put monkey faces on the Obamas, and he'd probably get a few less black votes. President Trump. But I'm saying Ron DeSantis, let him try that. He'll be disappeared. Let Lindsey Graham try that. Let J.D. Vance try that. When he go to run for president, he can't get away with President Trump get away with. And what I'm saying is Lindsey Graham on the ballot, President Trump ain't. So when the voters in South Carolina go vote, they're not going to show him the same space and mercy and grace they show President Trump. With the grace and mercy we see from President Trump being underpolled, all three elections he was underpolled. The Republicans weren't underpolled in the 2022 elections. They adjust the polls for President Trump, okay, in 2022. After what happened, listen, 2016, the prediction was about on point. They predicted Hillary Clinton was going to win. She won, but President Trump won the Electoral College. They predicted Joe Biden was going to win. Joe Biden won, but But what I'm saying, each one of those elections, President Trump overperformed the polls, so they adjusting the polls. And in 2022, the Republicans, they underperformed the polls. That President Trump still overperformed in 2024. President Trump overperformed every election he ever run for. Not so much for the Republican Party. So just because you say you 4 or 5 points down nationwide after all this stuff going on, if that election was held today, those special elections, look, we seen districts in Texas and districts in Louisiana swing by 30 and 40 points. 30, 40 point swing in Texas and Louisiana. Democrats, women winning in districts been held by Republicans for 30 some years, 30 plus years. That political climate in America, if those elections was held today, that Republican Party gonna lose by at least 25 seats. I'll put my name on it. Today, you down 25. So I'm saying you could get back down to 10 seats and hold the Senate, or you could go up to 40 seats and lose the Senate too. That's what's at stake. Like they told President Trump, you know you need minority voters. You know you need minority voters. Why post that about President Trump? President Obama in an election year, election cycle, how is that going to help you? That right there, that stuff with ICE, that kind of stuff, the voters don't forget it. They start making, you know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all, I talked to a 21-year-old voter up here in Hudson Valley, up here in New York. And he voted for President Trump. And he like a Hispanic black male. And he voted for him. And he trying to explain why he voted for him to make it make sense. I'm saying like that you put, like I don't understand the strategy. Whatever strategy you got, President Trump, you're not finna hear this on CNN, Fox, or none of that. They're not political strategists. They're giving you news and opinions. Whatever strategy you got, President Trump, I'm telling you, it's not going to work in the midterms with you not on the ballot. Because Ron DeSantis can't do what President Trump does. See, y'all ain't hear nobody talk like that, but you need somebody like Ghost to tell you that. Ain't no Marco Rubio cannot post on Truth Social. They can't do what President Trump does and still win. Not a normal candidate. Only President Trump could do that. So President Trump using tactics that he used, if he even thinking about it, and he'll win doing that. He'll win putting monkey faces on President Obama. But a regular Republican's not going to win doing that. President Trump is like on no ballot come this fall. No ballot. Somebody say, free Palestine, man. I didn't know that Palestine wasn't free. I continually hear Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and other Republicans and Democrats, I continually hear them talking about hundreds of thousands of children that were killed by the Israeli military, hundreds of thousands of Palestinian children. So maybe if that's what you're talking about, you could put that in the stream. But I didn't know Palestine wasn't free. You saying Israeli occupation? I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. Y'all tell me what's going on. I know we could have talked about that today. We could have talked about Bibi Netanyahu. So I think, an hour and 40 minutes or so, I explained the point of how America is becoming a brown nation. You know what I'm saying? Or a black and brown country or a minority white country. So we could talk about Israel. That's news. That's hot news, y'all. Bibi Netanyahu, he meet with President Trump. Like I said, I heard Candace Owens talk about, the protection that he has as he was coming into America. It was a spectacle, a state visit, and I've been very vocal about the Israeli military killing Palestinian children, you know what I'm saying? And starving Palestinian children. So I'm saying if y'all got information about that's going on and y'all want to put it in the stream, we could talk about it. But I mean, other than that, I didn't know. Like, I thought it was a peace deal that was signed. You know what I'm saying? President Trump, he got a board of peace. You know, I heard about I know people talked about what Bibi did do with the Palestinians, you know what I'm saying, and the Palestinian children. But I'm saying that's still going on right now. I didn't know that was still going on right now. That's what I'm saying. I mean, what he did do, so we talked about that. I talked about that. I mean, I said it's time, President Trump, it's time to make that call. I felt like President Trump needed to call Bibi at that moment. And President Trump needed to tell Bibi that it's time to knock all that stuff off. And I promise y'all, like a week or so later, Bibi Netanyahu went to the United Nations. That's what kicked it off. He went to the United Nations and gave a speech 4 months ago, and everybody got up and was walking out when he was speaking. Almost the whole world in the United Nations walked out on him. You know what I'm saying? And after that, they said that they brought that war to a conclusion. I know it's been some infighting, you know, since then. But, I mean, look, if y'all want to talk about it, we could talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Someone says the Christian army is strong. Somebody say if the people of Gaza had another democratic election, do you think they will elect Hamas again? That's a good question. What I think you should do if you Israel and you Bibi, that's what you should focus more again is on democratic elections. That's going to let you know everything that you need to know. Everything. Because if they elect Hamas again, Hamas cannot exist in Palestine. That's just bottom line. If you cannot be for Israel not starving children, but you are for Hamas existing in Palestine. Because the whole reason, in my opinion, that you having that spat that leads to Israel starving children is Hamas's existence in Palestine. So if you want to move past where you are at this point in Israel and Palestinian relations, I think the whole point is you got to get rid of Hamas. I think Hamas got to be removed. I said that from the get-go. I don't know if President Trump and them made a strong enough effort to secure the Gaza Strip during the peace deal. I said that from the get-go. You got to get Hamas out of there. Hamas is the problem. That's the whole issue. That's why you're going to keep coming back to this as long as you got Hamas mixed in with the Palestinian people. And now you got Netanyahu, he worried about the children of the Palestinians. He's saying the children are going to grow up and be in Hamas. He's trying to extinguish the whole race of people. Because you got a political terrorist organization mixed in with regular Muslims. And it keeps happening, and they keep fighting, and they keep spatting, and they keep coming to the same spot because you're not solving the real problem. The real problem is Hamas. Get Hamas up out there. King Fire says, what percentage of the U.S. politicians are working for Israel? Oh, man. You want to ask AI that, King Fire? What percent of the U.S. population is working for Israel? And after I asked that, because this is a hot topic, I think we would have had a whole lot of more people in here if we would have talked about that today, because that's what everybody's talking about. What percent of U.S. politicians are working for Israel? Let's see if AI give us an answer, because I know Google probably ain't going to give us the right answer on that. AI here neither. While U.S. Politicians are not, quote unquote, working for Israel, as they are elected officials of the United States, a significant majority of the members in Congress maintain a pro-Israel stance through policy support, voting records, and campaign affiliation. pro-Israel voting and rhetoric following the events of October 7, 2023, analysis found that approximately 93% of Congress members called for U.S. aid. So according to you, King Fire, 93% of Congress members and 82% strongly support Israel's initial military response in Gaza. The American-Israeli Pact supported 362 pro-Israel candidates, approximately 67% of Congress. During the 2024 elections, they spent $100 million. That's just AIPAC. $100 million. So when you ask what percentage of American politicians are working for Israel, 67%. Look, King Fire, this is what I gotta say. Listen, so if I address this, so if we talk about Candace, so Candace talking about, you know what I'm saying, Charlie Kirk's assassination, and she talking about how she feel like the Israelis had something to do with it. You know how Charlie Kirk was talking about the influence that the Israelis have on American politicians, and they're finding corruption in it, to where Charlie Kirk's turning against that, and mysteriously he just gets shot in the neck. So Candace doing that investigation. But I'm saying, if you listen to her and you listen to Tucker or you listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about the American support for Israel, or you listen to these aren't just Democrats saying this no more. Nick Fuentes, he's a conservative. He's a racist, of course, but he has a lot of viewership. You talking about Candace, you talking about Tucker, those are the top podcasts in the world. Listen, they're turning on Israel. Okay, Charlie Kirk, they said he was having second thoughts about Israel too. The young Republican guard is turning on Israel because of corruption. Corruption. They're talking about American politicians who are getting paid by the Israelis, right? That's what they're talking about. They're talking about the Israelis running different psychological ops and different things in America. They talking America is a puppet of Israel. That's what they're saying, and it's mainly due to corruption. That's their argument. King Fire, this is what I'm saying. This is how I feel about that situation. Number one, Bibi Netanyahu is facing charges in his own country for similar things. So if the young conservatives feel like that the Israelis or the Israeli government is either corrupt or helping corrupt the American government, I'm saying Bibi Netanyahu, he got corruption charges in his own country. He's been waiting to face those charges forever. Am I right or wrong, y'all? So if you're feeling some kind of corruption with the Israeli government, that's probably coming from Bibi. But I'm saying, why hate or why down on the Jewish people in general? Or you going down on the whole Jewish people? Listen, I'm going to say this. The Hebrews are some of the oldest people on the face of the planet. The nation of Israel is how old? About 70 years old, 80 years, 75 years. I'm saying, so you got a nation. Israel's one of the youngest nations in the world with one of the oldest people in the world. What does that mean, Ghost? That means that they kept getting kicked out of their land. I heard Candace say that the Israelis feel like they have a right to that land. I'm saying, like, do we need to look up the scriptures in the Bible? If you're a Christian, but I'm saying, even if you're not a Christian, I'm saying, like, look, we could sit here and we could pick on a nation from going into a land and taking over their land by military power. But I'm saying, like, really, we want to do that? How did the Americans discover the land we on right now? The Indians weren't here first? And you can't pick on America because that's human nature. Men fight over land all the time. That's the nature. That's why you need to learn history to understand that. So if we know history, the Israelis, they just want to have their land where they at. So, I mean, in my opinion, as many times as the Israelis been ran out of their country, I'm saying, like, I don't want to be ran out of my country no more. You have your next door neighbor saying that he want to extinguish you off the face of the map, and he 4 times bigger than you. So look at the neighborhood they in. The supreme leader of Iran, who controlling all them terrorist organizations surrounding Israel, saying he want to wipe you off the map. This your next door neighbor. He's saying this all the time. How you gonna respond to that? If y'all saying BB starving kids, that's a whole different conversation. Show the proof. Tucker did some journalism where he went over to Palestine and he interviewed the Palestinian kids and he showed the struggle that they were still going through. So if y'all want to attack BB, don't attack BB by saying the Israeli politicians are corrupt. The Chinese politicians corrupt too. I understand why Israel gives as much money to America as they do. If you was that small of a country and you was trying not to get wiped out because you was so, say you lived in South Central LA and you a white person and all your neighbors around you, they say death to the white man. I gotta watch myself. They saying death to the white man. You got 8 neighbors, 9 neighbors, they all surrounding you saying death to the white man, death to the white man. And they sending missiles and rockets through your house trying to take you out. I'm saying, what would you do? If that was me, I would go to the biggest power in the world and I would pay them to help protect me. So Israel is paying a bunch of American politicians that, why you getting mad at Israel? I'm confused. You need to be mad at the politician who taking the money if the money corrupt. The money might not even be corrupt. I'm just going to give, like you mad at Israel because they hustling. You mad at Israel because they pimping. I'm going to pay your politicians because this is your system. The Chinese over here trying to pay people. The Russians over here paying people. What's the difference with the Israelis trying to pay people to stay safe? So I'm going to come over here to your country and I'm going to pay all your politicians so they'll help support me. How you going to hate on Bibi for something like that? How you gonna hate on Israel for something like that? If you was a white person living and you surrounded by straight black people who want to extinguish you off the face of the earth, you might go pay the police or pay some security guards. You're gonna pay the biggest person on the block to protect you too. That's all that is. They paying for American allegiance and protection. Why wouldn't I want, say I didn't live in America, why wouldn't I want the strongest military and army to help protect me too? You can't hate on Israel for that. That don't make no sense to me. And that's me being fair, independent about it. You know what I'm saying? I believe in Israel being the children of God. Y'all could say that Bibi Netanyahu came from Turkey. That's what they said. They saying those people in Israel aren't real Israelites. Whatever, you going to have to come with proof. They saying Bibi Netanyahu came from Turkey. Maybe he did. But what I'm saying is I can't see no reason why you hating on the Israelis for trying to keep their nation safe when they've been ran from that country multiple times over thousands of years. They've been ran from that land. They just in the 60s and the 80s, they were just coming from all over the world back into Israel not too long ago, less than 50 years ago. You were reading about all the Jews returning home from all over the world. And you surrounded by people who don't like you and want to take you off the map. So how you going to hate on Israel for paying the biggest military to help keep them safe? You would too if you was in their neighborhood and you were surrounded by ops who wanted to demolish you. You going to pay the police or security to keep you safe too. That's all Israel doing. American military, the big bad dog police security guys. So they paying the Americans to keep them safe. You can't hate on Israel for that. That ain't no different than corruption within American shores. That's what they supposed to be doing. The problem is the politicians who taking the money and who supporting the killing of Palestinian children. If I was taking money from Israel, I would be, when Bibi was on, I'd do just like them nations did them. I'm going to get up and walk out. And y'all heard me say that. That's what I would do. Bibi, they walking out on you while you talking. You hurting Israel more than you could understand. You hurting Israel. Every nation in the world almost, bro. I'm talking about y'all. I told y'all that. Y'all heard me say this. Listen, the people who follow this content, Donnie, they heard me say this. Yeah, I see somebody loving it because they know. They heard me say this before this happened. Because, see, just like Candace and them, they bring it up, and I be hearing them talk about it, but I'm trying to say, I'm wondering what you saying, BB, so you talking about him killed thousands of Palestinians. Yeah, we already know that, but I'm saying he killing them right now. I'm saying if you saying you want to put BB on trial, then I'm saying he got charges in Israel, so support BB going to trial. Or if you want to make him a war criminal, just make sure you grab Putin too now. Because all y'all talking about Israel, I don't hear none of y'all talk about Putin. I don't hear none of y'all talking about Russia. So if you want to make BB a war criminal, make sure you grab Putin, because Putin was a war criminal way worse and way before BB. I'm going to make you keep it real. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying if you saying that BB did or A, B, C, and D, maybe he did. But I'm saying in my live stream, as far as Ghostwriter concerned, hold on, let's look it up. 4 months ago, what we were saying 4 months ago, let's look at our live streams. And we need to go back about 4 months ago. Because I did a live stream for BB on the We the People tour. Hold on a second, where is that? I said, President Trump, it's time to make that call. President Trump and peace in the Middle East. That's when we finally got it done. Yeah, President Trump, the only way to win is to stand up to Putin. That's what we was doing. President Trump not ending the war in Gaza is hurting Israel's long-term cause. Y'all go look it up. This on Legal Wars Live under live stream. Stream 4 months ago. I'm going to have to, if I was screen sharing, I'd be playing my own stuff for y'all. President Trump not ending the war in Gaza is hurting Israel's long-term cause. And about a week or two later, we doing a live stream called President Trump and Peace in the Middle East. Because he made the call. He listened to Ghost, he made the call. I want to show y'all this. The United Nations, y'all excuse my phone, nations, BB walking out. United Nations, BB, and I'm going to put walk out. Watch this. The whole world was walking out when he got up and started speaking. Look at this. Hold up, y'all. My bad.
Please.
You can't see it.
Please.
I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all ain't going to be able to see it, man. I'm talking about the delegates, all the delegates in there, almost every nation in the world, they started walking out while he was getting up to speak. They ain't listening to Ghost. I understand what BB trying to do, though. Y'all trying to make him seem like he a bad person. I don't see no difference in BB and Putin or BB and Xi or BB and any other world leader who trying to get money for BB and Donald Trump. He an American. And he got $1.5 billion since he was president. Who are like trying to get money? That's the American way. It's a capitalistic free market society, and you're going to get corruption in it. But don't just focus on Israel's corruption because they trying to stay like a free nation. Why don't you focus on Putin's corruption and the Chinese corruption? Why don't you focus on the Venezuelan corruption and you trying to focus just on Israel? Oh, they're so corrupt. They got the American politicians in their pocket. You know how many nations got the American politicians in their pocket? Our system is set up like that. You gonna hate on the Israelis for playing the game. They just playing the game. How you can't hate on them? You can't hate on them for playing the game, bro. That's what I'm saying. Now, if like I'm saying, Tucker, Candace, whoever, you know what I'm saying, Anna, whoever, if y'all come out and y'all say, hey, BB over there killing children still, here's the video, here's the evidence. I watched Don Lemon or Roland Martin, and they saying, here's the evidence, BB over there still killing children. That's what ghosts care about. You saying BB Netanyahu is corrupt, to me, that's childish banter. BB Netanyahu is facing charges for corruption in his country. That's like trying to say Donald Trump is something when he corrupt. You're not saying nothing. Oh, Israel got a bunch of lobbyists in America. Every country does. You're not saying nothing. Oh, well, Israel got Americans and a lot of nations do. You're not saying nothing. Now, her talking about BB Netanyahu having something to do with the death of Charlie Kirk, that's something totally different. Or Israel, because they saying Israel when they talking about BB. So I think the problem is that the youth in America, they don't like Bibi Netanyahu. I think that's really what it is. And they putting that on Israel. And they turning from Israel. And I mean, you're not gonna get ghosts to okay, you a Christian. You a Christian, Tucker. Tucker Carlson. Candace, you a Catholic, baby. Nations of the world and Israel. King James Version. Here, let me say, nations of the world blessed. Genesis 12 and verse 3, King James Bible. God promises Abraham, I will bless them that bless thee and curse them that curse thee. I will bless. So you saying that the people in Jerusalem right now, those aren't the descendants of Abraham? How can you say that? You know, one way, because the Muslims are saying they descendants of Abraham too. Y'all know that, right? The Muslims and Jews, Abrahamic religions, they're all descendants of Abraham. So I'm saying the people, I don't even think the Muslims would say the Israelis that are there now are not descendants of Abraham. They all are. So, you know, one of them two, God said, I'm going to bless them that bless thee and curse them. He talking to the Hebrews. I'm saying I can't get away from that scripture. That's like when he was creating the earth, you know, he these people are the Adam. He said he would chose the Israeli people, the Hebrews, because he wanted to show the rest of the world how to worship him. That's supposed to be the role of the Israeli people or the Jews. They're supposed to show the world how to worship God. If you got a Bible, a King James Bible, that most of them writings were first written in Hebrew. If not all, they were translated to Greek, then translated to English, then translated, but it starts with the Hebrew. So I'm saying I can't, as a Christian, I can't say that I don't support the people of Israel. Like I said, you said Bibi Netanyahu corrupt. What politician ain't corrupt? You can't talk about an Israeli politician being corrupt. How many politicians in America are corrupt? Oh, yeah, but they're American. He's not American. And what's your point? There's so many, America's a free market society. There's so many foreign leaders and corruption in America. What's BB the different? And then if you won't get me to believe that BB is doing some kind of corruption that ain't nobody else doing, well, what I'm saying is he got corruption charges in Israel that he been sidestepping. So that ain't nothing special to me to say he corrupt. The international community saying he a war criminal. But I'm saying separate the people of Israel from their leader, just like you separate the people of America from its leader. How many of us voted for President Trump? How many of us different? How many of us support ICE shooting unarmed Americans in the face? You see what I'm saying? So if you are Israeli and you see ICE shooting them unarmed Americans in the face, so you gonna say that, oh well, America supports shooting unarmed Americans in the face. That's what you gonna say? No, you ain't gonna say nothing like that. That's President Trump. You can't put President Trump with the American people. That's what I'm saying. You got to separate Bibi Netanyahu with the Israeli people. Bibi and the Israeli people are two totally separate different things, is what I'm saying. The most of the disdain for the nation of Israel is because of Bibi Netanyahu, whether y'all know that or not. Most of that disdain is because of Bibi. So you gonna ask Ghost? Ghost not gonna be in support, or you just hating Israel? Like I said, you could tell me why we want to talk. You want to talk about killing? So listen, I'm glad I got y'all where I want y'all. We want to talk about killing women and children. Somebody, y'all go get Miss Candace for me, and y'all ask Miss Candace Owens if she want to talk about killing women and children. That's what we talking about. BB killing women and children, or BB killing children. I think she said something like 100,000 children. That's what he got accused of. Like a genocide. That ain't just her saying that. It's a bunch of no strong accusations. That's why people getting up and walking out on her. But what I want to say, we talking about killing. What about the Iranians then? I'm saying at least BB saying that these people are their enemies. You know, these Palestinians, they're enemies. They might not be enemies, but the enemies hiding amongst them. I'm saying the Iranians killing people, they know that those people ain't enemies. They killing their own citizens. But we want to get on BB though, and we got a problem with BB, and we got a problem with Israel, but you ain't got no problem with Iran, and you don't want to even attack Iran. Leave Iran alone. Protect the supreme leader. Protect the guy who says death to Israel and death to your country. Protect him. Don't mess with him. Don't mess with Iran. Don't mess with the supreme leader, but you want to attack Bibi though. That don't make no sense to me. If you support human rights, it's not, so I'm going to support human rights for you. It's not black rights. If you want to support black rights, join Black Lives Matter. If you want to support Hispanic rights, join the Hispanic groups. But I'm saying you support human rights, that's all humans. So I'm supporting all humans. So I'm against, you know what I'm saying, the Palestinians getting killed, but it's okay if the Iranians kill their own people, though. That's okay. You ain't for slapping the Ayatollah office is a stool, because that's most of the problem. If you don't give Bibi no war to fight, then he probably gonna have to face them corruption charges. But they keep on attacking him, or the wars keep coming up, so they're not gonna get rid of him. He the best war president they ever had. That's what he is. He a warlord. Really, he kind of really like Zelensky. They war presidents that stay in power for 1,000 years and just fight wars. So that's what I'm saying. So y'all got to make it make sense for me how Bibi is really any different than any other leader in the world. You know what I'm saying? And then me as a Christian, I just kind of feel funny, like I'm hating on Israel. Like, okay, so what I'm over here doing? If I'm over here hating on Israel and I know this is where God country from, now I can't let the devil run a Mickey on me. I can't let the devil confuse me and have me hating over here on God's people. So if I'm hating on Israel, I'm saying what I'm hating on Israel for. Oh, okay, because he corrupt and he giving money to senators. You must not know about world politics. That's my point. You don't know about world politics. What country who got money don't get money? You don't think the Chinese got lobbyists? That's what they are. Let's talk about a lobbyist. That's what a lobbyist is. What nation has the most lobbyists? It better be the Israelis. As much as I hear y'all talk about Israel, it better be the Israelis. Which nation has the most lobbyists. Has the most lobbyists in the U.S. Which nation y'all think they gonna tell us? It better be Israel. Liberia. The top spender on lobbying in the U.S. with over $350 million. Liberia. Japan. Marshall Islands. Saudi Arabia. And UAE. Top spenders 2016 to 2015, Liberia, Japan, Marshall Islands, and UAE. Y'all find, let me ask the AI. That might be the wrong answer, huh, y'all? Let's ask the AI. Because I'm saying, what y'all talking about Israel? It's just the lobbyists. All nations in the world do that. You can't hate on the nation. You let's sound like Hitler. Not saying you're anti-Semitic. I'm not just gonna call you an anti-Semitic because you questioning somebody. That ain't how I get down. But I'm saying that's what Hitler just started hating on them. That's what I'm saying. You can't hate on them because they doing something that every other nation do. Foreign Relations Registration Act. Turkey ranked one of the highest spenders in 2024. They spent $28.1 million. Ireland spent $26 million. Marshall Islands, $25 million. UAE spent $24 million. Historically say they spent $64 million between 2020 and 2021, and they gave President Trump a $400 million jet. What now? China, between 2019 and 2022, they were the top annual spender, not no more. Most influential lobbying groups, Israel, often cited as having one of the most effective networks, primarily through the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC. That's what my boy King Fire talking about. They're spending $100 million during the election cycle. But you talking about Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, South Korea, and Japan. I see Iceland on here. I see Somalia land actively lobbying for official U.S. registration. Developing nations, 17 countries, including Ukraine, Angola, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, signed new contracts worth over $21 million. Bro, get out of here. I'm saying that's the game. That's what they're supposed to do. So BB just doing it. I mean, Israel just doing it better than other people. You can't hate on him for that. The whole game is a lobby game. That's the whole game. The whole America has all the influence in the world. So I'm saying, why wouldn't I want to? You do it too. You lobby in politics just like that. So you saying you at a party with your boss at the party. You trying to get a promotion at the company. And your boss is at the party. And your girlfriend walk over there and go start talking to him. So you going to go over there and you ain't going to talk to him because you support AIPAC or you against AIPAC. King Fire, you feel me? I'm just keeping it real. If you telling me the man doing the same stuff as they doing in Iran, no, I can never support anyone attacking Israel militarily. I never support that. But I can support removing Bibi. God supported removing Israeli kings. God did it himself before plenty of time. If you got a leader in Israel, he ain't right, and he hurting the nation and he hurting the people, you got to remove him. But I never support you doing anything to the Israeli people. I really never support you doing anything to no kind of people unless they did something to deserve it. I don't support you doing anything to no people. The Iranian, the Palestinians, nothing. That's why you telling me BB could be my biggest ally. You better not be starving. I couldn't take no money from Israel. Because that dude get out there to starve. I'm not, no, you know I'm the biggest. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not usually nothing that's pertaining to no hate groups. And if you hate Jews just because they race, that's a hate group. I ain't got nothing to do with not anti-Semitism, but all I'm saying, you don't starve no women and kids. So that's what I'm saying. If you got some proof that BB starving women and kids, that's one thing. But if you ain't got no proof he ain't starving no women and kids no more, I'm saying, what we still talking about BB for? Because of something he did. If he did something during that war, then put some charges on him. Oh, they already did the International Criminal Court. Well, then, I mean, we got to move on from that, right? You can't make Israel not be America's ally no more because of something BB doing. So that means all the nations in the world should stop being allies of the United States because of something Donald Trump is doing. That's what you're saying. I'm saying I know people don't think as deep as me, but I think a little different than them. I'm not on the Israeli bandwagon. Some of these dudes getting paid, they on the Israeli bandwagon. Are they just going to support Israel regardless of what they do? Israel could go out there and start burning the Palestinians alive. They still going to support Israel. I'm not one of them people. Y'all who know me, y'all should know that. I'm going to talk about you, BB, if you start doing something that ain't right. I'm going to start quoting scriptures on you. Y'all, he got up there with President Trump not too long after we did that live stream, and he got up there, he started quoting. I ain't never heard him do that. He was quoting scriptures. Now he quoting scriptures because Ghost on here quoting scriptures telling God. He's supposed to be telling us the scriptures. God said he chose him to show us how to worship. So God said that if you see your enemy hungry, God said feed him, and he gonna reap fires of cold. So BB, you starving children, you in direct scripture. You disobeying scripture, BB. That's how I'm gonna come at him. Forget all this secular world stuff. You represent the people of God. I really got real faith in the real God that could really kill you in your sleep. That's how I feel. I'm saying you, BB, you starving them kids. That ain't what God said to do. So you ain't no God leader. You ain't a leader because you disobeying God. God told you that if you see your enemy hungry, to feed them. We know that scripture as a Christian. Let me get that scripture for y'all, for all my slow people in the back who might not know the Bible as good as Ghost, and Ghost know the scripture. And I'm not trying to, if you see your enemy hungry, your enemy hungry. Romans, hold up. Its first was in Proverbs. But this scripture is all over the Bible. I thought it was just, they just gonna say in one scripture, but it's in the New Testament and the Old Testament. God's trying to show you. Romans 12 and verse 20 and verse 21. Therefore, if thy enemy hungry, God says, starve him to death. That's what he said to do to him, BB. If thy enemy hungry, especially the children and the women, I don't like that stuff. I don't care who you are. I'm going to call you out. I ain't scared of him. Real talk, he can't beat me in no fist fight. Anything, that's how you got to get respect from me. You got to hand to hand. You can't be having 1,000 people around you. I don't respect that. Get on down with me, boy. If thou see thy enemy hungry, then BB, you got to listen to God because you a God people country. God said to starve them. God said if you see your enemy hungry, laugh at him. No, that's not what God said. He said to feed him. If he thirsts, God said to give him drink. For in doing so, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. So maybe, BB, the reason why you ain't reap no coals of fire on the Palestinians and you can't get rid of this problem because you not obeying scripture, sir. That might be the problem. And we know how God dealt with the leaders of his country, whether they were Christians or not, because you are leading his people. So he's going to deal with you just like he would deal with a Christian, because those are his people. So you got to obey scripture. So if you telling me BB doing something like that, yeah, that is a clear violation of scripture. And he had people, and he committed human rights violations. Didn't want to listen to me. I showed y'all when I did that live stream, but when I did, right after I did that live stream, he didn't stop doing what he was doing. He kept doing it. He kept going on. And then I did another live stream because I got on here and watched the whole United Nations, he get up to give a speech in front of the world, and the whole world walked out. Every nation delegation besides 3. The people you hear clapping is the United States and Israel, maybe 4 countries in there clapping. It's 200 countries in here and only 4 nations in here clapping. A whole empty building. He giving a big loud speech to an empty building. Yeah, you don't want to listen to Ghost. You had one of them countries, like, I forgot what the name of the country, they were threatening to send troops in on Israel. They were saying, hey, the Palestinians, do they need help? Because we ready to send troops to fight Israel. You helping Iran. You don't know how to listen to scriptures. God told you, if you see your enemy hungry, do it like Bibi said. I'm going to do what Bibi said, because Bibi know better than God. God ain't here right now. That's Old Testament stuff. He don't know what's going on. We got to starve the Palestinians because that's the only way we win. No, buddy, you do what God said you to do. God told your nation, if you see your enemy hungry, God said to feed him. God said by feeding him, that's how you reap the coals on his head. But that ain't what you did, BB. You was starving them. So you feeding them now because you was forced to feed them by President Trump and the European community. But BB, if it was up to you, you'd be starving them. And that's why you can't get rid of that problem, because you don't know how to listen to God. God gonna deal with you like he would a Christian. If you over there, BB, represent his people, he gonna deal with you. You got to obey scriptures just like a Christian do. That's crazy, huh? I'm saying because he gave them scriptures, even the lost people. He want all them obeying his scriptures, all of them. And especially a leader of his people. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. If y'all telling me he's starving kids, what he over there doing? He just massacring a bunch of Palestinians. Y'all put that stuff online and let me see it. But I'm saying, if that's not going on no more, I mean, I'm not going to sit here all day and just try to condemn Bibi Netanyahu, because he is the leader of Israel still. Israel is special. Just like we think America is special or Israel's special. The United Kingdom is special. France is special. Spain is special. Italy is special. I should have said Italy first. Those are America's allies. What are we talking about? How is Israel any different than any one of America's allies? You should be happy President Trump been poo-pooing on Israel, how he been pooping on all the rest of our allies. So we got one ally that was an original ally that he ain't poo-pooing on. That's a good thing, ain't it? Oh, the Israelis spending money over here corrupt. We just went over that. Everybody doing that. What's the difference in Bibi doing it? That's what I'm saying. Everybody else could do it, but Bibi can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And this America, you should get mad at our government and our people for us having a system where you can have lobbyists. That to me, that's setting you setting yourself up to have some corruption. With some lobbyists, you know you're gonna have some corrupt stuff going on. Right? You know you are. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. If y'all got something Bibi doing that, y'all say that. But just saying that the man, like, what he already did, we already know he did that. We know he did worse stuff than that. He got charges in this country. But as long as you give him a reason to keep fighting, he ain't never gonna face them charges, and he always you gonna keep having the same problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that. He says Net and Yahoo is the devil. Red G, what's up, my boy? I ain't seen you in a minute, Red G. I'm doing good, fam. How you doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Just been same old, man. Same old kicking it. You know what I'm talking about? Who that is down there? That's Ahmad. What's up, Ahmad? He says, why do you say that about the lobbyists? I think I know what you mean. I'm saying that about the lobbyists because they keep on talking about lobbyists. That's what I'm saying. They always talking about the Israelis. The Israelis got lobbyists. Every nation on earth got lobbyists. All the nations. What's the difference with Israel lobbyists and the rest of the nations? They talking about the money Israelis, AIPAC, how much money AIPAC paying. Every nation try to influence America elections. What's the difference with Israel? That's the way America's set up. Reggie say awesome in the Big Easy now. These men after Epstein, I called everything. I've been investigating them since 2006, man. That's pretty awesome though, Reggie. That's pretty awesome, man. Like, it's unbelievable to me as some of the men who I seen on the Epstein list, I was surprised by it. But I shouldn't be surprised though. You know what I'm saying? What you say about it though, Reggie? About the list, man. And the people that's on the list. I'm saying what I said, Reggie, what we saying about the list, my boy? You know what I'm saying? What we saying about it? Because I'm saying, depending on what side, to me, I see what I understand. Like, what I seen is that Prince Andrew thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm saying, in the people that were named, Prince Andrew was named by a victim directly. With incidents and he lost a lawsuit. Prince Andrew paid millions of dollars. Somebody sued President Trump and that lawsuit got dismissed. Same situation. Somebody a female came forward and she sued President Trump in 2015 and that lawsuit was dismissed. Virginia Giuffre sued Prince Andrew. She said her and Jeffrey molested her and Prince Andrew had to pay millions. And then he was looking for her, trying to track her down, and she come up dead. Face all beat up and stuff. I don't see how President Trump I don't see how he got much, he probably ain't got too much to do with a lot of that stuff. That stuff came from, and England dealt with him. They dealt with him. When the Queen, when she was alive, she stripped him of everything he had, stripped him of his name, everything. They want his apartment. Yeah, that's Prince Andrew. Had sex with a 17. She was 17 years old. Prince Andrew did that. Yeah, she accused him and Jeffrey. And then she come up dead after she had those millions of dollars from Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew was looking for her too. And she come up dead, y'all. She was in Australia. You know, Great Britain, you know, Australia is a commonwealth of the United Kingdom. He a prince in the United Kingdom, so he know people, he got pull, he got power and everything. Plus his ex-wife, she a scumbag. She was trying to take up for him. She like the Galil Maxwell type dude. They had women that was cool with they dudes messing with little kids, little 12-year-olds. They men wanted a 16-year-old and they mad old hag, but you know, they stupid. They sexual immoral too. So they stay with him while he messing with the 16-year-olds and they torturing the 16-year-olds with him. Because they really jealous because he want the 16-year-olds and he don't want her old self. But instead of her sounding the alarm, I guess for the money or whatever, she stay with the old dude and help him molest children. And then go track the girl down and get her killed. It's a sad story, bro. Yeah, it's a dirty game, Reggie. And complicit women. Yep, that's all it is. I remember when Trump called John Bonet a perfect 10 right before she was murdered, and they had their mask on her. Only rich, not even people. Man, I don't know about golly, President Trump called John Bonet a perfect 10. What? Come on, man, don't do it like that. Reggie, don't do it like that, man. That's too dirty. Listen, I don't see how President Trump had. I don't see the guilt. I don't see his guilt in it. They sued him for the. They approached him. Listen, how could he have? The girl. I know that girl, the main one that used to work for Trump Towers, that Jeffrey was messing with. and mess with Prince Andrew that some people said something about Virginia Giuffre and President Trump, like they spent time together. Some people said they spent time alone. I heard that, like an hour or something like that. Some kind of controversy or some saying President. But I'm saying, like, she never said President Trump did nothing to her. She never said his name. Why is that? President Trump in the same circle, but she never said his name did nothing to her. But she did say Prince Andrew. She sued Prince Andrew and got millions. She never said President Trump. And if I'm not mistaken, she used to work for President Trump. That's where Jeffrey got it from. That's just weird. Red G. So it's hard for me. Like, I'm a legal person. I know if I go in that courtroom, I got a whole set of evidence. This police department arrested me for no reason. They did A, B, C, and D. That judge, he looking for, you got to prove that case. I seen Jasmine Crockett. I'll play that for y'all guys. I'm finna jump out the car real quick, cruising with Ghost Rider, man. I'm gonna set up the camera outside. Y'all get ready for that Tax the Rich tour going out west. It's gonna get warm. We getting back outside, guys, for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? To do the live streams. You know what I'm saying? It's 30 degrees right now. It was in the 40s yesterday. I'm already ready, man, to get out there and stream. But like, look, but yeah, man, like, it's just President Trump. To me, certain things don't make no sense. If he did something with Virginia Giuffre, it's like they not saying his name. The only ones who said his name, it was a falsehood. The case got dismissed. The same way Virginia Giuffre, that's the girl who should have said President Trump's name. She never said his name. Not that I know of. That's why she didn't sue him. She was in Thailand. So in Thailand, why she didn't sue him? She sued Prince Andrew. Why she sued Prince Andrew and not President Trump? If President Trump did something to her, she said Jeffrey Epstein did something to her. But she never said President Trump did nothing to her. And they said President Trump hung out with her. People, Jeffrey and them accused President Trump of her. Other people said that President Trump did something with the girl, but the girl never said. I'm saying, if I'm coming out and accusing people, why I'm not accusing him? And I'm not trying to protect him at all. You know what I'm saying? Because I done got on his head for being on that list. He did wrong. Like Jasmine said, he had too many friends that were pedophiles. He was too cool with pedophiles. But you ain't got no proof he did something. Okay, you know he did something with some females. How you know they weren't 20? Jeffrey had 20 years old. This Giuffre girl, she was like 17 when she slept with Prince Andrew. I'm not mistaken, he was like in his 30s maybe his 40s. She like 17, she almost legal. He got stripped of his princehood for sleeping with a 17-year-old. 17, in some states 17 is legal. And he got stripped of his princehood for sleeping with an almost legal girl. You gotta be the stupidest. And look, he got a picture of it. He got his arm around. He hugged up with her on the picture. But you know, you ain't supposed to have no cameras. These dudes were green as grass. You know, if you famous, you can't. And I don't care if the girl was your age, and you can't have no cameras in here. You ain't gonna be doing no posting me, trying to make me look like anything. You trying to get some shine off of me. No, you can't have no cameras around me if I'm a famous person. Nobody can have no cameras around me. If you need a phone to feel safe, baby, we gonna give you one of them phones, them old analog phones, them 1992 phones with no cameras on them. You can't make sure the camera don't work. You can call who you want to, baby. I'm not trying to take your phone, but you can't be taking no pictures on here, getting on Instagram trying to get some shine off me. Well, forget that. They done got Prince Andrew sitting there hugged up with a 17-year-old. You gotta be the dumbest. She put the pictures, when she sued him, Red G, she put the pictures in the lawsuit. So that's why that's happening with Prince Andrew. They could really charge him if they wanted to. That's why he got disavowed from the royal family, because he lost his lawsuit. They sued President Trump, they missed. So what I'm saying is, regardless of how much we feel like President Trump or President Clinton might have did something with some of them girls, you really need to prove. You're going to need to prove. How you going to prove what President Clinton did with a girl 30 years ago? And half them girls, they popping up dead. You really can't blame them. I don't believe that don't got nothing to do with President Trump, nobody in America. I think that was Prince Andrew who killed that girl. That girl said, they said she got in a car wreck with a bus hit her. And she made a 911 phone call. This is an Epstein survivor. She made a 911 phone call and the police told her there wasn't no police around to come to her to answer the call. She posted a picture from the hospital where she was beat up and she said she would be dead in 4 days. And I think her husband killed her. That's what I think. And I think Prince Andrew, Prince Andrew, that's what happened. That's what Candace saying about Turning Point USA. Candace saying she think that that Erica, Charlie Kirk's wife, she knew or had something to do with him dying. She knew about it at least, if not backdooring him. Candace saying that Erica and Charlie were fighting the night before he got murdered. That's usually what it is. Guys, 9 out of 10 times when the spouse get killed, when they spouse usually, if they didn't do it, they knew something about it. They was complicit in it happening. That's just how it works in America. And especially if they were arguing and they were having problems. So, oh yeah, it's definitely a code. Definitely. The whole thing is a code. That the Epstein is a code. They all kind of, bro, I need to do a live stream about codes, Red G. They full of religious nutbags and nut jobs. Full of, like, you know what I'm saying, political nutbags and sexual deviant nutbags and nut jobs. Like, we live in a cult-infested world. Everybody seem like they're in a cult. Man, guys, if y'all hadn't liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell, guys. We've been streaming for 2 hours and 45 minutes to do for you guys right now. I'm gonna get y'all out here on the roof with me, baby. Y'all get out here on the roof with me, Red G. You know what I'm saying? Showing y'all I'm up here, out here in Hudson Valley, in that big NYC. You know what I'm saying? Right behind that pole you see, that's gonna be the Hudson River, of course. I'm acting like I don't know what's going on. It's kind of windy out here. I'm trying to watch my phone. That's going to be the Hudson River, y'all, right behind that pole, right in front of the mountains. It's frozen over. I seen the guy walk out there yesterday. Red G, if you tip me about $1,000, my boy, I might walk out there for y'all. Y'all enjoy the scene, man. Y'all know what time it is. We getting ready to close it down unless y'all want to keep on going. Y'all hit that button with the $sign, and y'all appreciate all y'all love and support. Man, it's absolutely gorgeous out here, ain't it, guys? It's about, I'll say about 30 degrees, so it's not all that bad, man. Tell you the truth. Man, if I was in Mississippi and I told you it's 30 degrees, I would tell you it was freezing outside, man. But up here, bro, 30 degrees, man, it's been -7. I'm saying I've been outside in this, bro, -7 degrees. Your boy out here, a soldier. Y'all feel that? But you know, it then got warmed up a little bit. I see it's gonna be, I don't know where y'all at, but up here it's looking like it's 40 degrees, so we getting towards March. You know what I'm saying? That's why we gonna start getting excited. You know? Gonna head out west, Red G, with that Tax the Rich tour. You know what I'm talking about? Coming soon, coming soon. I appreciate it, Red G. I appreciate it, my boy. Golly, man, you talking about the Epstein files, man, Red G, that's unbelievable. I heard that about President Bush too, man. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just hard for me just to believe just anything, man. It's hard for me to believe stuff. You know what I'm saying? She making an allegation like that against President Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, once that case get dismissed like that, man, it's like, because look, Reggie, like in a situation where I got 3 lawsuits right now. If one case get dismissed, it's getting appealed to the Supreme Court. That's guaranteed. Because I know I'm right. And I know I was wrong. Did she even file an appeal? You see what I'm saying? Maybe she didn't have the money. Who knows? But I'm saying at a certain point, maybe the lawyers who had her case, maybe they didn't believe her. Who knows anymore? But I'm saying if I file a case, bro, I'm going to appeal it to the Supreme Court. And then if the case get dismissed, I'm going to file a new one on that same city, that same case. So I'm saying if I was her, the girl who sued President Trump in 2015, Red G, let's talk about it. Girl who sued President Trump in 2015. Girl who sued President Trump in 2015. So the person you are likely referring to, AI so smart, is Katie Johnson. That's a pseudonym, who filed a federal lawsuit against Donald Trump in 2016. It said 2016. The AI corrected me, Ghost. 2016, not 2015. Ghost, I'm smarter than you. Through her allegations gained significant tractions during his first campaign. The allegation using the pseudonym Katie Johnson and Jane Doe, she accused Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein of sexually harassing her in 1994 when she was 13 years old. Pseudonym Katie Johnson. That's why we'll look up Virginia Giuffre. I think she worked for President Trump. That's her and this Katie Johnson girl are the two catalysts on this. You know what I'm saying? 3 of the Epstein victims were killed. But I'm saying all the information I'm consuming, I'm getting to the bottom of what's going on. And I know the criminal, that Prince Andrew, I see criminal activity with Prince Andrew. Period. Proven. You know Epstein was guilty of pedophile. Prince Andrew, he got convicted. So it's probably it's like the tip of the iceberg, Red G. What we know about Epstein and Prince Andrew is probably a lot bigger underneath with President Trump too. But I'm saying in 2016, this girl filed a lawsuit in California and it was dismissed on technical grounds. Y'all remember what Ghost said? I don't even know this. Listen, what Ghost told you he would do if he was wrong. I just told y'all this. I never looked this up. This is my right hand to God. What I told you would do, I said I'm going to file an appeal. That case was dismissed on technical grounds. She didn't appeal it. I would have appealed it. But she refiled a lawsuit in New York. So she went from Cali in April. In June, she refiled it in New York in a different state. And just before the presidential election, she abruptly dropped the lawsuit and canceled a planned press conference with her attorney, citing multiple threats to her woman's safety. Y'all know, I don't believe that she just walked. She being threatened. She got threatened. She was getting threatened the entire time. So that might be a reason why she dropped the lawsuit, but I don't think that's why she dropped the lawsuit. You know what I think why she dropped the lawsuit? I think she dropped the lawsuit because she probably picked up some cash under the table. You couldn't make a I've done that before. Sometimes you could dismiss a case without telling the court you made a settlement. But she might not. It might have been for her safety. But all I'm saying is that I ain't finna drop no lawsuit unless I got some money. I don't drop lawsuits unless I get paid. Somewhere, I must have got paid somewhere from somewhere if I drop one case I ever filed. I got some money somewhere. It might not have been that case. It might have been a different case, and I don't feel like fooling with it no more. I got paid. I'm saying she refiled it in June, but she dropped it in November, days before the presidential election. Somebody scared her off the spot to the point where her attorney felt like she probably couldn't keep her safe. I don't know what the problem was. But that's what I'm saying. With Katie Johnson, they tried at President Trump. They were unsuccessful for whatever reason. So I'm saying, there's somebody on that list, I said it already, that you like, that you gonna make an excuse for being on that list. So I'm saying, I'm gonna just keep it all the way 1,000 with everybody. You gotta get some kind of conviction or some kind of something in order for me to believe it. We know Epstein he was convicted several times. So I'm saying, let's look at Virginia Dufresne. Let's look Virginia Dufresne up. Virginia's law, she got a law passed in her honor to eliminate statute of limitations for sex traffickers and abusers. She worked for President Trump. Virginia Dufresne. She worked for President Trump. Virginia Dufresne. But you know what she said? She alleged that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell trafficked her to Prince Andrews for sexual purposes on 3 separate occasions. In 2001, when she was 17, she didn't say nothing about President Trump, and she worked for him. 2021 civil lawsuit, and her posthumous memoir after she died, she detailed 3 encounters with him. She felt she had to comply. He was aware she was underage. He denied, and he settled in February 22, $16 million, and he had her killed. Yeah, Prince Andrew, I'll tell you to your face, you old sick little dude, you had that girl killed. She died, and I guarantee you had something to do with that girl death. That's not President Trump. Look, Virginia Dufresne and President Trump accusations. I think I could have sworn I heard an accusation. She the most high-profile victim. There was email chain between Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. She told Virginia spent hours at my house with Trump. That's what Jeffrey said in emails. Virginia spent hours at his house with Trump. Isn't this new? This ain't new, right? It was in the Epstein files. Virginia spent hours at his house with Trump, a girl that he worked with. But she never accused him of doing nothing. That don't make no sense. I mean, it look like as much as we want to get top big President T to it, I'm saying that's how I'm looking at it. Out of all the millions of pages, I know the most prominent figure, the girl who got 16 million off of Prince Andrew's neck. She worked with President Trump. Jeffrey Epstein accused her of spending hours with President Trump. So maybe they did something and she just liked it. Because she wouldn't tell on him. Why she wouldn't snitch on him? That don't make no sense. Y'all make that make sense. I'm telling you, Ghost gonna get to the bottom. Like, that's what I'm saying. I mean, maybe he did do something. The girl who Katie Johnson who sued her, why she filed, like it's not connecting. You're not able to get him. It's the OJ thing. The glove don't fit with President Trump. The glove not fitting. We know OJ probably had something to do. He at least knew that what his wife was gonna get killed. He was at least a little complicit in his wife get killed. You know he had something to do with it. But the glove wouldn't fit, so you gotta acquit. The glove ain't fitting with President Trump. That girl, Virginia Dufresne, used to work for President Trump. Jeffrey gonna talk to his little sex trade slave woman, boss, manager, Ghislaine Maxwell, that piece of trash, and he told that trash that he seen old big President T. He was spent hours alone with Virginia. If he said he spent hours alone with her, then I'm saying he would know. Wouldn't he know if that was just, you know, in the day room and they was just eating some pizza? He would be in there too, watching the movie, you know, like granddaddy and granddaughter just watching the movie in the day room. He said he spent like they somewhere else in the house and he can't see them. And they by themselves for hours. But she never said that he did nothing to her. Why she didn't say that about President Trump? In 2001. Isn't that when she sued Prince Andrew? When she sued Prince Andrew? We know that about Katie Johnson, but when Virginia Dufresne sued Prince Andrew? When did Virginia Dufresne sue Prince Andrew? What year that was? I'm trying to see y'all whenever Prince Andrew, when she sued him, what year she sued him. So they settled in 2022. Because I'm saying if she sued him, Because I know Prince Andrew is mad about this. So in 2021, so President Trump was already president, you know? I don't know why she didn't accuse President Trump of doing nothing to her. I'm saying that Virginia Dufresne girl, she was very vocal person. And I'm saying I hadn't heard one accusation on President Trump besides that Katie Johnson girl who was 13. She the only one. And she dropped the charges and she ran off somewhere. She's scared. Maybe they'll bring her back up after, you know. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out after President Trump is passed. Somebody had the courage to come out and say, hey, yeah, he did this to me. Who knows? I'm saying President Trump had too close association with those kind of people, though. But I'm saying that happened a long time ago, and he's 70 years old now. I don't know how that's still relevant to today. If you ain't got no crime, you could connect to him. That's what I'm saying, guys. Guys, we over 3 hours now, y'all. Golly, somebody said Trump's name is in them files more than God's name is in the Bible. Franklin, what's up? What's up, Dolores Franklin? Somebody said Trump name is golly. They said President Trump name all over them files. What y'all think about that? Big President T, they said your name all over them files. I'm saying you got to have an accusation, though. Jeffrey could have been just really fond of President Trump, or President Trump could have just hung in a lot of those circles. I'm saying there could be a lot of reasons why President Trump's name was all over them files. But to me, you need to have some accusations of some things that he did that just like Cassie sued P. Diddy and P. Diddy settled. So here come Homeland Security. So they come find out what's really going on. Oh, P. Diddy was a bad boyfriend. He beat her up. He made her do drugs and he pimped her out to other dudes and females. But Cassie really, she was for that. She was with that. She told him on the stand, they asked her if she missed him or she loved him. You should have heard what she said. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, like, we know what Virginia Dufresne did was a money grab. I believe her, the person who physically killed her was her ex-husband. And I think Prince Andrew gave him the cover with law enforcement. That's what I believe. It ain't no conspiracy theories. That girl died under mysterious circumstances. That's just what I believe. I can't see President Trump having his hands in that girl's death whatsoever. And she never accused him of doing stuff, but she did accuse people and she was successful. The reason she was successful, she had a picture of her with Prince Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell. It's been pictures produced of President Trump at parties, but ain't none of those girls came forward and said he did anything with them sexually. Tell me where I'm wrong. His name's in the files, y'all, but he got to be accused and proven in a court of law. You can't convict a man without going to court on him. I ain't saying he right about nothing. I'm just saying. You could say Jay-Z's name was in the files. What's that mean? You know Jay-Z ain't kicking with no Jeffrey. But you know Jay-Z probably do what people in Hollywood do. They be partying, they be getting down, they wild like that. Yeah, money do quiet people. Money do quiet people. That's facts. Well, that's what, just quiet, whatever. That's the game. That girl got 16 million and then she ended up dead. She should have bought security with that money. If people were threatening them, she should have got her husband knocked off if he was beating on her. That's what she should have done with that money. Her husband and killed her for the money. And Prince Andrew, he wanted her dead because he lost everything he had because of that. Queen Elizabeth stripped him of everything. That's what he needed to have done. And if that girl would have came through with that president, she didn't have no evidence on President Trump like that. She said he had sex with her when she was 13. That's what she accused. You said his name in the Epstein files more than anybody else. The Katie Johnson said she had sex with him when she was 13. She dismissed. Her first case got thrown out for a technical problem in California. It's technical. She refiled it in New York and then dismissed it herself. She probably got some bread off the record. I'll pay you an extra $250,000 if we don't write up no settlement. I'm gonna just give you this money on the black market. Who knows what happened? But whatever happened, she could have just been scared too. But I'm saying, and she had the reason to be scared. I'm saying the president, but Prince Andrew got the same really across the world. But you talking about in Australia, Prince Andrew, I mean, that's Australia is a Commonwealth? Is something under England still? What? So she was in Thailand. She's suing, and yeah, she got him, Prince Andrew, and somebody got her. She got beat up and killed and hit by a bus. The police said they ain't even showing up. I heard it. Police told her they ain't even showing up. She got hit by the bus. Police ain't even gonna show up. The girl posted a picture of herself beat up, said she gonna be dead in 4 days. That probably was her husband doing that to her. Guaranteed. And Prince Andrew had Hunter, and I think he gave him the cover to do it. They say that girl shot herself. That girl didn't kill herself. But she got $16 million from Prince Andrew, and she never said President Trump did one thing to her. I'm saying President Trump, he done sidestepped it, man. If he really did something, you ain't got nothing on him, what can you say? Because that Virginia Dufresne not accusing him don't make no sense. If he really did something, it seemed like she would have accused him too. Hey, I saw the files too, Orange and Pimp. I saw the files too. Leroy said money's still being given. It probably is. Ain't no doubt. I'm saying I saw the files too. I'm consuming the same information you are, if not more. And I'm just saying, like all the information that came out, you can have this. You could say, oh man, Jeffrey could say, oh, he walked in the room and he saw President Trump under the tower naked with Virginia Dufresne. That could come out in the next set of Epstein files. But the girl dead. Jeffrey Epstein, you don't know who made that email. That could be a fake email. Or Jeffrey he could have wrote an email and been lying. That could be 1,000 things that could be. You need hard down evidence. You need one of them you had thousands of girls. Where that Katie Johnson girl at? Is she still alive? She feared for her life because the girl's coming up dead. But somehow you going to have to go get the military to protect her. Get the girl to have the courage to come forward with some proof. If you ain't got no proof, don't even come forward because it ain't going. It's water under the bridge. It wasn't water under the bridge with Prince Andrew. Was it? He lost everything. They even trying to get his apartment from him. They didn't give you nothing. Stripped him. And he got sued for 16 M's. And he got to pay her 16 M's. And he had to kill. She didn't say nothing, but she said Jeffrey too. He said Jeffrey trafficked her. You know Jeffrey was sleeping with her too, but she was saying Jeffrey trafficked her to Prince Andrew. She probably said he did it to her too. But it's like she's selectively telling on people, though, because she ain't say nothing about President Trump, not a word. Oh, well, she's scared of President Trump because he was the president. That's why she was over there in Thailand. But I guess she looked at you, Prince Andrew, like you was the duck, goose. So she duck. Hey, she needed 16 million. And she knows she had 3 pedophiles, these rich pedophiles that raped her. So she say, duck, goose, who we gonna get? Well, Jeffrey dead. President Trump, he too powerful in America. I'm in Thailand. I mean, she was in Thailand. Don't she seem like she could have told, she could have said something? Because Jeffrey said he seen her with her alone. But she didn't say nothing about President Trump. She said Prince Andrew. Maybe President Trump did something she ain't saying, but I'm saying that's the game. You can't make something be that's not there. It ain't there. Go find the girl who he did something with, since y'all so sure he a pedophile. You so sure. You were so sure. So since you were so sure, go find the girl that he did something with and bring her back with the allegations. You know that's the game. You can't just be, oh, his name in the file, so you a pedophile protector, but you ain't got no proof on it. I'm not no Kool-Aid drinker, number one. I'm not no peon. I don't fall for nothing and stand for anything. That's the same thing I would want on him if he was going out to Ellis Peretti or Renee Good or one of them immigrants trying to snatch him up with no papers, American citizens. Nah, you got to get that man. I'm a legal person, fair across the board. That's justice. You got to get that man his day in court. You got to give him a shot. He got convicted of 34 counts of what? He guilty of that. He a convicted felon. And he ain't get convicted of messing with no children. You can't convict him of that. If that's the case, we got to convict everybody on the Epstein file. I was disappointed that Bill Gates' name was on the list. We can't say Bill Gates guilty or nothing. If you went to Epstein Island, if you was cool on Jeffrey, we know that stuff. They had Howard Lutnick. They messing with Howard Lutnick. But I don't see why, like Howard Lutnick, if he went to that man's house with his wife, you see what I'm saying? He went to that man's house with his wife, y'all. Man, hey, my bad, man. I ain't got do not disturb on, man. I'm trying to kill the call, man. They always like getting that big ghostwriter while he on the live stream. You know what I'm talking about? My phone being retarded. It ain't even letting me put it on Do Not Disturb. I took it off Do Not Disturb, man. Look, but yeah, man, that's pretty much how I see it, though, man. You gotta have the evidence. I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying nothing. How I know? How you know? You could say if what I think don't matter, though. He might have done something. Who knows? That's something heavy, though, for you to put on somebody being a pedophile. If you say he act improper with women, everybody know that. That's already been established. But you saying the man is a pedophile? You gotta have proof. And I'm saying all the women, all the girls, that stuff been out for years. For years. What, President Trump got like a hit squad that's going around watching the women who trying to accuse him. They going, pew, pop up missing. That sounds like some science fiction stuff. That's not what's happening. I don't know. He kicked it with Virginia DeFray. Maybe she liked President Trump or something like that. Because sometimes when it's like that, she not going to tell on him because she like him. If she could, she'd sleep with him 1,000 more times. She ain't going to tell on this dude. You know how to feel them? Yeah. Because she ain't just all innocent. Yeah, she a victim too, but yeah. So I'm saying, so she might be like President Trump, like, you know. I don't know. Maybe President Trump didn't do nothing to it because I don't see why she said Jeffrey, Ghislaine Maxwell, but she didn't say President Trump's name. President Trump probably was good to her. She worked for him. He probably was looking out for her. But she said Prince Andrew, she stuck him. And his ex-wife was taking up for her. Was taking up for him. His ex-wife was trying to run her down and look for her. It's a sad story, man. He said Minnesota melted the ice, man. That's political stuff. But that sound cool, though. Real time. Minnesota melted the ice, man. That's political stuff, man. Yeah, President Trump, though, he fell into that trap himself. He ain't got nobody to thank for that situation that happened in Minnesota but himself. He could pat himself on the back. Over-aggressive. Extending his hand, you know what I'm saying? For sure. Leroy, you said apologize. What I'm going to apologize for? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, bud. He probably was nice to her. That's all. What you saying is all I'm saying. Black truck drivers coming back, Angus said. Yes, indeed. Bud said she said he was always nice to her. He probably was. I have nothing to apologize for. And the reason why I don't is because everything I'm saying is true. I'm saying hypotheticals, I don't know. All I'm saying is President Trump was never accused of no wrongdoing besides by one girl who filed a lawsuit that was dismissed, and that's it. Virginia Dufresne accused all of them, Jeffrey, Prince Andrew, and what's his name? And Ghislaine Maxwell. And she hung out. It was in there. Jeffrey, that should clear President Trump. Jeffrey said he saw her kicking it with Virginia for hours. So we are to think that President Trump was kicking it with her for hours at his house. But she never said President Trump did nothing to her. But she said everybody else did besides President Trump. That don't make no sense. And because of that, you just fishing. You fishing when you trying to get President Trump and that stuff. That's why he gonna make you look stupid in the end. And the voters ain't gonna vote on that anyway. I done said that a long time ago. But since it became so big, I kind of started talking about it. But I'm saying you ain't never been able to connect President Trump to none of that. He in all of that, but if you ain't got no crime, what's it gonna do? I said that from the very beginning. You ain't never gonna find no crime President Trump committed. All you could do is try to get in his head or throw mud on his name. You ain't never gonna find Virginia Dufresne got Prince Andrew. You gotta be able to get one of them victims to shoot directly at one of them dudes with some proof and some evidence. That's how you gonna get him. If you don't get that, you ain't gonna be able to get him no other way. Y'all, that's my time, man. Peace and love to all my beautiful peoples. You know what I'm saying, guys? I'm a Christian. I believe Jesus suffered, bled, and died on the cross for our sins. I believe the blood that Jesus shed washes away our sins. I believe you can become a Christian by repenting of your sins in one prayer. That's all it takes. Believing that Jesus Christ suffered, bled, and died on the cross for your sins, and you asking for forgiveness. That's what salvation is. Accepting his sacrifice as the payment for your sins. You have to be truly sorry of your sins. You know what I'm saying? That's what salvation is, man. I believe in the blood of Jesus Christ. I believe Christ is King. Always, forever, and for eternity. I am a Jesus. I'm a believer in Jesus. I'm a Jesus believer, Jesus worshiper, Jesus whatever you want to call me. I'm just not a religious person. Y'all feel that? So that being said, my boy. So Leroy said, big bank take little bank. You can't take this bank. You trying to flash? I never played. Listen, big bank take little bank. Well, my bank ain't. My bank is the government. You got more money than the government. The government is my bank. You know when you come into that lawsuit, right? Big bank take little bank. You got, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got your bread. You know, gotta have money to go to war. I never had no money going to war, and I'm 9-2. Everybody I ever sued had more money than me, and I beat them all, besides 2. And one of the cases, I wasn't even the lead litigator in. In the cases I lead litigated in, I'm 8-1, boy. Only case I lost was the very first one I ever filed. Because I was a rookie. Big bank take little bank. My bank is the government bank. The government paying for that. I'm coming in there on the government dime. You got more money than the government? No, so you lost. Pay up. Big bank take little bank, Leroy. They ain't got more money than the government. You got more money than the government? No. Well, you lost. Pay up. That's the game we playing, bro. Whichever way you got, whatever game we play, I'm going to turn it in a way to where I'm going to win. You got to understand that about big goals. Whichever game we play, I'm going to maneuver that game in a way to where I win. And that's big facts. Y'all, look, that's my time, man. I was finna get off, man. Leroy came in here with something smart. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Tomorrow morning, we going to be live again, man. You know what I'm saying? At 7 a.m. Eastern. But on Saturday and Sunday, man, we really going to just chill out. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like President Trump and them, they calmed down a little. He done calmed down a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm going to kick back this. We ain't got no news or no pressing news, so I'm going to just kick back this weekend. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to come up with some good stories, some good topics, some better stories and better topics, some newer stories and newer topics to go over next week. You know what I'm saying? So unless we get some major news or some breaking news, Friday will be the last day we live until next Monday. You know what I'm saying? So I'll see y'all tomorrow, Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern time, right here, man. Big Ghost Rider. I appreciate it. I love every last one of y'all, man. Appreciate y'all checking in, and I hope to see y'all in the morning.